What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
You see what this stream's about here on My Cowboys Family. It is the 2024 Week 8 preview. Long-awaited, rematch against the Niners. A big game, best of the NFC. Not so much this year with the 3-4 Niners and the 3-3 Cowboys. But nonetheless, could be a big game. If you look at the overall flavor of the season, we never know what's going to happen.
This game always has big implications.
And yeah, this is always a hated rivalry. And a heated rivalry, and hey, we got to body slam these Niners. That's hopefully what's going to happen in this game, but we got a lot to overcome. We'll discuss that and more. Some guys got to really, really step up. Some getting elevated from the practice squad. We'll talk about it all here today. We're not the only ones banged up. It's also the Niners, as you can see by their new logo over that Week 8 preview. So we're going to talk about that and more, but before we get into the breakdown there, and we probably are going to have a special guest here to help break down this game. Stay tuned for that, in our breakdown section. But first, let's shout out those that make the world go round here on My Cowboys Family. And, there's a 2-week total here.
That's right.
But we have, so far, a person representing this entire last 2 weeks. And he's really been representing the entire month of October. And his name is John Luna. John Luna. Much love to him. And he is the sponsor of the week, back-to-back, like our 90s Cowboys. He's also the stream boss with 47 points.
That's right.
And he's currently in the lead on the overall board right now to try to go for that three-peat by John Luna on that Sponsor of the Week board. Huge shout-outs to him. And again, you got a couple ballers right there behind him, whether it's people like Mr. Marco Seppian or Chill Pill. People are behind them, but hey, we'll see today and tomorrow night, game night. We'll see who gets the crown and who gets that, I'll say that weekly winner bonus raffle entry. We'll talk about that in a minute. But big shout-outs to John Luna on that side of things. Huge shout-outs to the man staying skeptical fan who is our Cash App King.
That's right.
Much love to him. And shout-out to the person currently leading it, although there may be someone jumping that in a little bit. The leader is currently James Herr, who is in first place currently this last 2 weeks on the Cash App board. There could be a Pat Pfeiffer sighting. We'll have to wait and see about that. But either way, right now, at this exact second, James Herr in the lead there. And if you look at the overall leaderboard, or what we talked about, Mr. John Luna there, first place currently. But when you look at the gifting, the weekly gifting leaderboard, the Cash App Queen is none other than Chill Pill.
That's right.
Shout out to Chill Pill. She's representing it for 3 months on our After Dark channels, but here she's the gifting queen. Appreciate you big time, Chill Pill. But this week we might have a different queen or king, and maybe King John Luna, because he's currently the only one dropped in the last week and a half, and he has 10 to his name so far this 2-week stretch. So John Luna may be becoming not just the 3-time sponsor of the week and maybe holding down that stream boss, but it looks like he may also try to jump in there
as a membership gifting king.
Yeah, jumping in front of Chill Pill there for that crown. So we'll see what happens. And hey, I guess there is always an outside chance he goes for the entire takeover and somehow takes over the Cash App king board. We'll see.
And there's a few different ways to take that board over specifically when it comes to the Cash App.
Yeah, because you have the other side, the YouTube side. You got the super chats. You got the thanks button, which John Luna actually used last week, and it's what propelled him in the first place. But also you have the membership, situation where you can jump in the membership. We got 4 different ones: navy blue crew at silver level 2, the star and over everything levels. And a big shout out. I know we lost a couple people. Maybe you could jump back here like Big D and AOD, but we also big shout outs to Justin Quarles, the Q man, in the silver level.
That's right.
And Andy and Boogie in the navy blue crew, who are back in the membership side. So big shout outs to you guys. And of course, you can gift memberships once you're in the membership.
That's right.
So that's big shout outs there for you guys as well. Oh, Calvin Richard moving on up the board with a $20 holler right there, baby. You know what the number 20 is now, right? Dalvin Cook.
That's right.
Are we seeing something here coming up? Big shout outs to Calvin Richard with the $20 holler.
What we smell what Dallas is cooking. But thank you so much, Calvin. He said, "Hey guys, I know it's early in the show, but I want to hear your thoughts on, do you think if these guys actually practiced that they would be better fit to play in a football game without being injured?" Unfortunately, most of our injuries have come from practice. We've really only lost 1 or 2 players to game time injuries. The rest of them have come from practice, although up until this week, McCarthy has reiterated that all our practices have looked pretty crappy. We've heard it from the players a few times. We've clearly seen those results in the way that we played in the game. So, maybe we need more practice. More practice.
I mean, the players, NFLPA probably have rules on how long you can work the players on the field, but
yeah, the injury bug is definitely hitting us a little harder this year than I think we expected it to. So
I don't know if it's again, is it the practices or is it the mindset of the team? Is it maybe are they the practice, the way you practice, the way you play? So
I know, but players get hurt all the time. It's just again, why do we keep getting hurt specifically in these practice?
I know it's weird though. I think about like Marshawn Nealon, who got hurt in the game, and I think about Micah, who got hurt in the game, and DeMarcus Lawrence got hurt in the game. Brandon Cooks got hurt in the game. So all these guys got hurt in game, like the big names we hear about. Yeah, and you got other guys like the tight end, John Stevens, who got, we know he got hurt, tore his MCL and ACL. We'll talk about him a little more because his movement on the roster makes a difference. But, some of these guys are getting banged up in practices. They're not looking good in practices anyways, looking a little lazy sometimes. We're hearing about Aikman with the lazy routes from receivers. I've seen video footage and clips of Turpin not running the routes well, putting Dak in very difficult situations throwing the ball. So it's a team loss here. And I think it's not just in the practices leading to injuries. I think it's the practices leading to laziness on the field by offense and the defense, and the coordinators and the coaches are not doing their jobs. And so I think it's a failure from the top to the bottom, from the owners and the front office to the coaches, to the players. And I think it's just all, it's the lack of accountability, to me, is the bigger issue.
Yeah.
When you have the lack of accountability from the GM/owner, Jerry Jones, any GM would have been fired 15, 20 years ago, maybe more, after the performance he's had.
But Jerry's not making CeeDee Lamb run lazy routes. Well,
no, I agree. Right. He's still, Will McClay brings in CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb, is not doing the best on the routes. On every route. On the routes he's getting the ball, he's doing his thing. But in the routes, it's not going to him, it's lacking. Yeah. So anyway, I want to keep it moving on. But a big shout out to Calvin Richard, and I will adjust the board here when we do the shout outs to everybody in the house. As you see, James Hurt currently leading, and the king of the Cash App, currently Skeptical Fan. Woo. But as we move on, there's different ways of dropping the love here in the Cash App. I'm sorry, in the super chats, the thanks button, the memberships, and gifting memberships, another way of doing it. As you see here, the super chat function by the man Calvin Richard with another $10 holler dropping on top of that one.
Thank you so much, Calvin.
What did the man say?
You. He said, I remember Nate Newton saying that they actually had, 2-a-days, and it doesn't seem like they had as many injuries then as they do now.
They seem more conditioned, you know what I mean? The players back then were much more conditioned because of the longer practices. The NFLPA, wanted to win, wanted to have, players protect the players more, not from necessarily injury, but maybe overworking them, and then now it's producing. You can see in some instances maybe more injuries without even realizing the lack of conditioning.
It's funny because we were talking about this earlier when I had brought it up, but one of the bigger changes from previous years and injuries and things like that into now, because of the NFL's focus on like concussion safety and the new tackling rules, things like that, you're seeing an overwhelming amount of lower body injuries that in previous years, because of everything, a lot of these injuries wouldn't have been as severe just because they were kind of getting spread out all over the place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, because we're having basically all the tackles are happening constantly at these lower body, lower extremities, you're actually seeing a lot more severe lower body injuries and soft tissue injuries. So it's kind of bizarre because you're right. We do have less injuries, or we do have more injuries now, more soft tissue injuries, which do come from, like you said, more of that physical preparation, but a lot more like serious, severe ACL season-ending injuries. The thing is, we also have way less things like concussions or neck injuries or just general like shoulder injuries even. You know, I remember one year, it was not the year of the shoulder, but I saw everybody had like a broken clavicle. So these things happen, just
broken
not as
bones,
frequently.
can't do that, but soft tissue and tears, you know, we don't know. We had a rash of that, you know, when we first started doing this thing on MCF.
I do
and
have
then
to admit,
we've gotten better throughout the years. Then we lost some people. Remember that one, Paul died? And then we kind of started to almost regress in the injury, you know, situation. So who knows?
Yeah. So again, the one thing is the two-a-days though. Maybe we do need more practice to kind of get ourselves physically conditioned properly.
It would be great, but we can't do it.
I know we can't.
It's not allowed by the NFL. That's the rule. So big shout outs to Calvin Richard. Appreciate you dropping the knowledge there. And another 5 on it for Calvin Richard. He is now tied with Seabass in 4th place with that drop right there. And if I'm not mistaken, you look at that stream, boss, it's hanging John Luna hanging on by Roger Staubach right there, 12 points. Big shout out to Calvin Richard. What did Calvin Richard say with that 5 on it?
He said, I remember when I was in the Army, they've always said, if you slack off in training, you'll do so in combat.
Exactly. And you play the way you practice.
So if we take the comments about, hey, we're having really shitty practices, we look bad in practice, we're not having a good practice, how do you expect us to play when it comes to game time?
And I'm worried.
If we're having, again, it's one thing to have a bad practice every once in a while.
Yeah, but consistently bad practices. And again, now you have 2 weeks of these consistently bad practices or not elite practices. You get ready to play the Niners, who are, you know, always out for blood with us, and we don't have that same killer instinct. We practice lazily. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Yeah.
I don't have a good feeling. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, we will continue to discuss this and give you some keys to victory. A lot of things got to go our way. You know what I mean? A lot of things got to go our way. And we got to be realistic here, guys.
Sometimes you can create your own luck.
Listen, the one good thing, the Cowboys are huge underdogs in everyone's minds, including the fan base. That's the best thing that goes the Cowboys' way. Sometimes the Cowboys play best when they're the biggest underdogs. And I'm not just saying that. The Cowboys literally play best when everyone doubts them the most. We'll see what happens. This year, it could be different. But you guys know, we talked about it 3 times. The way to drop love and donate here through the super chats or thanks or memberships or gifting memberships once you're in the membership are multiple ways you could go through YouTube. But there's 4 of the ways, which we go on the After Dark channels we use mostly. And, baby, why don't you shout out the ways, any Cash App, PayPal, the best 2 ways. But what are all the ways, baby?
We have, of course, the Cash App, money sign, MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at my-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and the Streamlabs link, which does let your comments show up on screen like a super chat would.
So, yeah, big shout-outs to everybody who's used all these functions, all 8, I guess, ways of dropping the love here. And, of course, it is a Fan Friday. So for us, it's a Fan Friday. So we will shout out those that are on not just the Star and Over Everything level membership, but also in the Silver level, too. I mean, again, guys, big shout-outs to everybody who does, you know, jump in the membership and take advantage of all the little perks that are thrown into the mix there as well. So, just real quick, explain the monthly jersey raffle, baby.
Yeah, so again, guys, once a month, you get entered to win an authentic, like, stitched-in jersey. We have a whole variety of styles, sizes, and, you know, players available.
Yeah.
So you can rep it. And, that's one of the perks of being one of the star or over everything members. Yeah. Or if you end up winning one of the weekly
winners there, which would be the sponsor of the week, basically, guys.
You also get an entry that way.
Like John Luna, bonus entry. He's a star level, but he also gets bonus entries because he's been the weekly winner. So ups your chances to win one of these. Again, sewn and stitched jerseys. Like I said, mainly we got Cowboys galore, but we have every team in 4 or 5 different sports. Every team, a lot of different players to choose from. Already getting a huge order out for the After Dark crew. So, we'll try to get our monthly raffle winners their jerseys as well. John Luna getting a Houston Astros jersey. So, see, it's a lot of different. We cover everything here. It's not just Cowboys because we know fandom runs deep in every fan base, but here it's a star over everything. Nonetheless, still give a chance to other true passionate fans to get involved. So, and people that love the channel, like John Luna as an example. That aren't Cowboys fans. But, baby, it is time to do them shout-outs for those in these levels. And,
right here chilling with us.
Yeah, we got the silver level, the star, and over everything. So
thank you very much to Calvin Richard.
Yeah.
We have Justin Quarles, the Q-Man, Mr. A. Lavelle, the top dog, Dwayne Broussard.
Yes, and then we also have the star level crew.
Of course, John Luna, Mr. Jetly 44. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical.
Always.
LC.
Yep, and there's a couple over everything members.
Like Chill Pill.
Chill Pill.
And Mr. Seabass.
Yes, both of them over everything. So big shout out to them. And hey, you may be seeing a
special guest on the second
special
half
guest,
of
a little over everything special guest in the house. So we'll see what happens here shortly as we get to the second part of our stream here, which would be the breakdown of the Week 8 game against at the San Francisco 49ers. So, baby, as we keep it going, give the shout-outs to who's in the house tonight. Ready to talk some Cowboy football.
Shout out to the man, Burn Bar. What's up? Much love. Scorpio representing. Yes. Matt Batten. What's up? Hello and hi.
Yep.
We got Kenzie Bands in the house. Asmodeus repping it all the way from Memphis.
Yeah.
Agent Elvis, what's up? Who, by the way, wants to know if you're going to go live after this live stream.
If I do it, it'd be very late. So figure, or early in the morning, like 5 in the morning if I do it, and it's going to end it's going to be like 2 hours at the most. It ain't going to be one of my big ones. We got a lot. I need to catch up on some sleep.
I know.
But I have that insomnia, so you never know. So you got to be subscribed over there on the After Dark, on both After Darks.
So, speaking of, we have Seabass himself here.
Hey.
Hello and hi. We might have him here even more shortly, once we get through some of our general NFL and Cowboy news, right? Let me see. Rolling back a little bit more. We have Little Dallas Cowboy. Hello and hi. Calvin Richards, of course. Calvin Richard. I know. I always say Richards. Oh, Eric Wallace, what's up? We have Roy Strassner.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. Freedom first. Looks like you were first. Hey, way to go. Aztec Aguilar 04. Hello and hi. So, Burn Bar, that's awesome. Hey, if the Cowboys can get their ish together, they had quite a lot to say this week about the run game in particular, which, ties into some kind of slightly surprising last-minute news that we heard about today as far as Dalvin Cook. But we'll get to that.
Surprising? How about way behind? You know what I'm saying? We were way behind.
Surprising only because, again, we were waiting for it all these weeks, but it happens now. So,
well, let's talk about some football news.
Let's get
Kick
into
it off with NFL stuff here real quick. Guys, Denver Bronco wide receiver Josh Reynolds shot twice after leaving Shotgun Willie's strip club in Glendale, Colorado on October 18th. It was reported it happened October 18th, but reported a couple days ago. He's 29 years old. Him and 2 other men were followed by multiple vehicles from the strip club and shot at. Reynolds was shot in his arm and the back of his head. Another man was shot in his back, and the third was wounded by shattered glass. The 3 men that were shooting at them were in a blue Ford Bronco when the shooting happened, and their vehicle would no longer drive. They fled and climbed over a fence. Police responded, of course, immediately to the 911 calls from that. But a statement from the team saying Josh Reynolds was a victim of a shooting on Friday in Denver and received treatment for minor injuries. Out of respect for the legal process, we defer further comment on this matter to the authorities. So obviously, pretty major there.
Glad he's okay.
Yeah, big time there. Now, I did want to say that we had, I think Jameson Williams, wide receiver of the Detroit Lions, suspended officially now suspended for 2 games without pay for violating the NFL's performance enhancing substance policy, the PED policy. By the way, he was fighting this. He was going to be appealing it and he just said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to take the hit on this one. And he just dropped the appeal, taking the 2 games and dealing with that. So, the Lions going to be without him for 2 weeks. Now, Dallas Cowboys. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboy talk now here, because we know there's other things going on out there. I know there was a game on Thursday night. I don't care. I don't care about the Lions and the Lions in Detroit. I mean, the Lions and the Rams, whoever it was, the Vikings and the Rams. Whatever. Rams won. Whoopie-doo. But it's more to me are talking about our Cowboys here, and it's really, at this point, that's really all that matters. Worrying about what other teams do at this point, with the way we're playing, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we have bigger problems than what's happening in other teams' locker rooms.
Let's just get into it. First and foremost, Jerry Jones did do something great here with the Gene and Jerry Jones Foundation. Charlotte Anderson also, of course, pushed this as well. They pledged $250,000, which is really nothing, but it's at least better than nothing. Pledged $250,000 to support colorectal cancer research.
Hey, that's actually really great.
Yeah,
especially considering Dak's foundation.
Dak's mother, that whole situation. So the pledge is toward the league's Stand Up to Cancer program and the Crucial Catch initiative. So that's one of the good things there. You see the Joneses doing there. But then Jerry Jones also spoke about some things like, you guys remember that facility situation, the talk about the facilities and how a lot of former Cowboy players kind of talked a bunch of crap about the fact that
the tours that we have at the Star.
Yeah, the facilities are, it's football. It's football. Everywhere else it's just about football. In Dallas, it's football and a business and a tour and fans and tours and that kind of stuff. So Jerry Jones had a couple of comments about a couple of things, but regarding something I know regarding the facility tours.
Yeah,
so what else was said?
He basically called bullshit. So he said that he was actually happy to see and hear, that ESPN story about the fan tours and stuff. And he was asked, why were you happy about that? He said the publicity will, quote, increase our tours significantly. It's ridiculous to think that it impacts the play of the players. So Jerry added a little bit more fluff, but that is basically what it comes down to. He sees this as, hey, now even more people know about these tours, and now even more people are going to want to see it because all these players basically just they basically just advertise these tours for me. Go on the tour, you'll run into Cowboy players while you're there.
Yeah, I remember too.
Like it adds to the spectacle that Jerry is looking for.
But think about the difference. All these other places are just football. They don't have tours. And the only place you can have a tour where you affect the team, I mean, obviously, you're involved with the team, side by side with players and coaches, are with the Cowboys. That to me, it's more about the fact that, it doesn't matter. Jerry Jones wants his tours, and now that people know that the tour is such a big deal in Dallas with the players, yeah, this is advertisement for old Jerry Jones getting some more money. And those tours are never, again, he said, you're swimming upstream if you don't like these tours and you're a Cowboy player.
So
he doubled down, tripled down.
Not exactly I think maybe the response that we thought Jerry would give, I guess.
Hey, by the way, I want to know what people think about this, but I want to shout out Pat Pfeiffer, Pat, I don't know if you wanted to. I know she dropped 5 a little earlier in the day. You can use that for the After Dark. You can use it for the MyCowboysFamily. If you use it here, you would literally jump into first place on the Cash App board. But I just wanted to let her know, just in case she was interested, or save it for the After Dark music. I don't know if we're going to have one tonight, Pat, but tomorrow we definitely will after the football game. So Sunday night we'll have an MCF After Dark no matter what. But I just want to know what you wanted to do with that, since we're probably not going live. If I do, it's going to be a really, really short one today. But I see Pat Pfeiffer in the house. Azteca Aguilar, Matt Batten. What was that? Camin-X, I think.
Camin-AZ.
Camin-AZ, Matt Batten. Yeah, so, you owed me that one. Okay. That's true. You did owe me that. I trust me. I'm going to have to make better notes for myself. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. Thank you for your for the love there on that side. I think that was for the After Dark, anyways. Just double checking.
Yeah. So of course,
Jerry also spoke a little bit more.
Yeah. So he spoke a little bit about the popularity of the NFL, saying you'll never have a day when the NFL isn't on free TV for almost every part of it. We want to stay very accessible, and I think that has a lot to do with the NFL's popularity. The biggest thing that makes the NFL as popular as it is in my mind, it's a soap opera every day, 365 days a year. It's promoting interest in football when the teams aren't playing. And when it gets slow around here, I'll stir things up.
I mean, this is what we've been talking about with Jerry Jones in the beginning of time. This man will do anything it takes to bring in money to the Cowboys, using the star, using the history, using the greatness that we've had. It's not just, and I hate saying it's a clown show, because it's still got a lot of love there with this, but he's made it into a spectacle.
Guys, Jerry is no different than like a social media influencer.
He's
or
PT
whatever.
Barnum is
all
what he
sees is his product bringing in the hype, bringing in the attention,
Bringing
and
in
that
more
brings
people.
in the money.
Yeah.
Whether it's from fans of your team or haters of your team.
Or opponents that come in and buy tickets and sit their asses right there in the Cowboys team and watch teams kick our ass at home this year. We're 0-3.
Now, you guys let me know if you see this as a positive, because Jerry said that he thinks this is what our Cowboy team is the best at, saying, quote, "I'll be very candid with you. Every aspect needs improvement from where I thought it would be. Where I thought we would be, and I know from where the players and the coaches think that they would be. That's not discouraging to me at all, but he thinks that it leads to everyone paying closer attention to the details." So that's what he thinks that we're best at.
Wow.
Taking these negatives and paying attention to the details.
I don't know what team he's watching, but obviously...
Now, no offense. I don't think he actually answered the question.
Yeah.
I that's just me. Like, I read this, I'm hearing this, I hear what he said. I'm not really taking that as what the Cowboys are good at.
That's the one thing we probably need a lot of help with. Wow.
Oh, I think more help than Jira can provide.
Incredible. So...
those are some of the main things. Again, everything else he said wasn't really as important.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the things that matter when it comes to Jet. Who's in the house, maybe, really quickly, so that we can then move
Jet
on.
Li 44, Pat Pfeiffer, Cam and AZ, Matt Batten, Scorpio.
Hey, Jet Li in the house. Much love to Mr. Jet Li. And Pat and everybody, Scorpio, Batten, everybody, AZ. By the way, Jerry wasn't the only one speaking, but he's the owner and the general manager, which has always been an issue with me. I don't care if he wants to be the owner. He's a great owner. Horrible general manager. Would have been fired after 2 years, but he's still there after 28 years, 29 years, 30 years. This motherfucker hasn't won shit.
I would say the great motherfucker. Yeah. That's what he is.
But I will say this. We have the second in command, his son, Stephen Jones, part of the Clown Show, and he did speak. And this was an interesting... He spoke about a couple of things. We're going to just take it kind of more by topic than who spoke. But here's an interesting thing I found about him. Baby, I know you have the quote, the full quote. Basically, he was asked... This is something we spoke about here on My Cowboys Family multiple times over with you guys during games, during the week, during these previews. We said, what happens when Stephen Jones takes over? Jerry Jones dies. That's life, right? He passes away. If Stephen Jones takes over as running the show here in Dallas, will he be also an owner and general manager? That'd be the we just continue the shit.
Yeah,
continues.
Or will he stay in his lane?
Or will he just be the owner and assign a true general manager to run the show? What did he say about that? He was asked about this on 105.3 The Fan, which I think is some people say it's a touchy question to ask, but ask it. It's a real question. And they asked him, if he sees himself taking over, not just as the owner, but as the general manager. And if he is, we're screwed. If he takes over as general manager, we are fucked. But if he lets somebody else actually who knows how to be a general manager take over, we might have some light at the horizon, so to speak. What did Stephen Jones say about taking over as general manager one day when Jerry Jones passes away?
He said, quote, "I don't think about that. I want to enjoy every moment with my father. He is the owner and the president and the GM. I cherish every minute I've gotten to work with my father, and a lot of people don't get that opportunity. I cherish the opportunity. I want to be where my feet are. There's that old saying that Dak likes to use, enjoy what you're doing at the moment. Well, we'll cross that road one day. No one's getting out of here alive the last time I checked. At some point, that may be the case, but we'll worry about those things when they happen. I just want to enjoy working with him and being a part of something special. I know right now we're frustrated with how our team is competing on the field, but overall, we've had a hell of a run, and I think we've got a lot left in us.
I mean, another non-answer from the non-answering client.
A hell of a run is definitely an interesting way to phrase that.
I was waiting for you to catch that. We've been on a hell of a run of what? Of losing? 28 years we haven't got to a conference championship?
I'm definitely running like hell. Thank you so much, by the way, Jet Li 44, kicking things off here with $1.28 holler. Thank you. Appreciate the love always. The classic Go Cowboys.
Definitely kicking it off for him this week. For
Mr. John Luna down to Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons away. The man who kicked it off was of course Calvin Richard. Kicked it off heavily, knocking that down. But now we got Jet Li chipping away.
Now, the way that Steven answered that makes me think that Jerry probably has like a serious hardcore ban on discussing this topic in their house or just in general. I also think that, realistically speaking, this is probably the best answer Steven could have given.
Yeah,
if he told us what he actually was going to do, that would be dumb. And I think it would get a lot of people talking about moving on from not just the coaching staff. You know what I mean? Like, it would cause almost an internal division where you're pitting dad against son, you know, when they're trying to be a unified front.
Yeah, all I'm hoping, and this guys, I'm being serious.
Or, it actually happens and then he feels like, a grade A jerk because he just talked about his dad kicking the bucket and then he kicks the bucket.
We know he loves his dad and he's working with his dad and it's great to work with your dad and all that great entitlements he's gotten and luxuries he's gotten and all that great stuff he's gotten as being a rich, the son of a rich dad, right? But my point is, the best thing, the only hope we have, guys, listen, nothing is going to change. If Stephen Jones takes over for Jerry Jones not as the owner, that's one thing. That will change maybe like in different kinds of like advertising kind of style, maybe. But or maybe the way he does the radio shows.
I think he's going to handle the media differently than Jerry currently does.
That's Stephen Jones, but that's the owner. That's fine. But I think he'll be a little more low key, a little more behind the scenes. Stephen Jones. He don't want to be in the front and center. But I think that's when you hire a GM. That's the key. I don't care about the owner. If he stays owner, be owner. That's fine. But you hire a GM and not your buddy from your fraternity that's currently the cap guy. That's not the guy I'm talking about. You hire a Will McClay. You hire a Howie Roseman type. You know what I'm saying? A real general manager that can get this team going forward in the direction, has a plan, not just a bunch of rich guys playing around with chess pieces. That's what Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones does.
We know things aren't going to change much. As long as Jerry is the one that's still running the ship.
Right. But until that, when Jerry does pass, Stephen Jones has a choice to make. Does he take over the general manager role, or does he give that to somebody who actually knows what he's doing? If he gives it to somebody else, we got a chance to get back on track. If he doesn't, and he keeps it like Jerry, we continue the 28, 29, 30 years of misery that these motherfuckers have given us so far. So, sorry for being so angry, but... yeah, it's been a while since we even got to a goddamn conference championship.
I know.
We haven't even got to the Final Four. Forget a Super Bowl, the Final Two. So anyways, I digress. We got enough of these guys that we don't have to hear anymore from Steve Jones and Jerry Jones. So we do have to hear, though, about Coach Mike McCarthy as these last 4 days passed. There's some things that were said, off this bye. And I have a couple of things I'm going to bring up a little later about changes that need to happen that come from this bye that we know it's coming. The coaches themselves have said it's going to be in the run game. Yeah. But Jerry Jones Stephen Jones spoke, but Mike McCarthy spoke to Ed Werder and was asked about the Cowboys' focus as a team and the intensity and sense of belief that the Cowboys can still accomplish those goals that we set off at the beginning of the year. So what did Mike McCarthy have to say about that as far as goals going forward and the intensity and sense of belief that we can accomplish those goals as a team?
He said, quote, "I think we're a team that's growing. I think that's really where we're coming out of training camp, and you could see it in Oxnard. We did a lot of good things, but our inexperience, whether it's a young player or a new veteran that's arrived at the time that he's arrived, you've just got to keep working for those things together. The belief, the energy, all of that. Trust me. What goes on outside the locker room is not an illustration of what's going on in the locker room. The practices, the way that they go about it, the energy and what they bring to the meetings, we're getting better, and I see it. I believe it. I do feel strongly, and they believe it. It's easy to come in here and talk about all the things that haven't gone right. That's not a clear picture of our football team. So he also kind of kept on adding in there,
going,
saying, quote, "We've won 3 games on the road, and we're getting ready to go win our 4th. And that's our mindset. That's the way that we look at this. I think the value of being accountable is important, but it also brings a higher scrutiny because I think our guys do a really good job of being upfront and answering the questions. You may not need to answer questions as much as our guys do, but I think our guys are very, very accountable, and I appreciate that. I'm proud of them for that. All these things about what we're not doing right is not an illustration of our football team. It definitely does not reflect the confidence and belief that we have. This is a very good team. It's tough to play out there in Sunday Night Football, so we're really looking forward to just going and getting this 4th win."
Yeah, so he was referring to the Niner game. But yeah, veterans, inexperienced guys, veterans that are new to the team. Why are we getting them new to the team and they don't know what they're doing in training camp? Because Jerry Jones brings them in too late.
Yeah, and Mr. Seabass said, "McCarthy, shut the hell up."
Exactly.
You can't say that you're seeing progress when you're rated what you're rated out of the entire league with 32 teams. So stop gaslighting us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 100% agree with Seabass on that. We know, listen, this is a dead man walking. We know he's on his, the contract that ends. He's out of here after this year. So he knows it. And this ain't going the right direction so far at 3-3. So this team is not prepared, hasn't been prepared in playoffs. It ain't about this year. To me, it's more about the last 3 years of not being prepared in the playoffs. That's McCarthy and the coaching staff. And no matter what this front office does, but the front office hindered him by, again, bringing in guys, veterans, late. Now they don't know what's going on. Jordan Phillips and Linville Joseph, they're a little behind. You got inexperienced, undrafted guys. We've been complaining about that. McCarthy mentioned that they're just getting things kind of rolling together. But we're 3-3, and it's going to be tough. It's not going to get any easier. And these guys got to step up, and we still don't have guys back that are injured. So all these things are just pipe dreams right now that he's feeding us. But, accountability, I'm sorry. Maybe the players, they say they're accountable. He believes they're accountable. The coaches do. I don't know. But I know that Jerry Jones is not accountable. And by him not being accountable, it trickles down. And I think that everybody gets a little taste. They might not even realize it. Subconsciously, it might be happening. But deep down inside of them, they don't realize that they're not being accountable. Players, coaches, Will McClay even. And forget Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, they're delusional. They don't know what the fuck their team status is, really. They just think they're always doing the right move. They don't realize their shit. Now, we talked about this the other day about Brandon Aubrey, the kicker, in his situation with jury duty. He is still taking part in jury duty, and he's getting work in with the Cowboys still, even though it's not at the actual practice time. He's getting in work.
At the courthouse?
He's kicking after he gets out of jury duty for the day. McCarthy said, quote, "We have a plan to make sure he is ready to go for Sunday."
All right, so he's still finding a way to squeeze in his reps.
He gets his reps in there, even though it's maybe at sundown. McCarthy also said when he was asked about preparing for the Niners this week, and specifically wide receiver Deebo Samuel, who had pneumonia, working his way back, McCarthy said, quote, "I think he should rest, but we're preparing for him to play." So, which better safe than sorry. I'm going to give you guys a little hint. He's trending to play. This was earlier in the week. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we knew that John Stevens suffered a torn ACL. This happened. He got hurt in Wednesday's practice, and it said he was limited that day. We talked about that. He had a knee issue, but I don't know if we knew the actual severity. Mm-hmm. Officially, a torn ACL in his left knee, and it happened in Wednesday's practice. He missed the entire year last year with the same exact injury in the same exact knee. Surgery is, of course, upcoming. He is yet to be active for a game this year.
Obviously wishing him the best, but back-to-back injuries like this,
in the same knee,
pretty much
the same
means
ACL.
His career is probably over.
It's going to be tough, guys. He's not going to have the same thing. That's a shame because he had a nice upside there as a second or third tight end for sure.
A lot of potential and a lot of excitement around him.
Yeah. So again, he got undrafted, which is a perfect guy for the Joneses, but he has yet to be active for a game. He's never actually worn the star on his helmet in a game in 2 years. But the Cowboys love this upside. This season-ending injury with the ACL, according to McCarthy, he said this is, quote, very unfortunate. McCarthy added that the coaching staff had discussed during the bye week plans to have him more involved. And John Stevens got injured. Literally coming, as they're involving him more. That's what happens when
you sit there and twiddle your thumbs and wait too long.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunately the end of tight end John Stevens for now, for this year. And I'll explain, he has one more move to do. We'll talk about that in a minute. We have one more move on him because now he goes off the roster. The 53-man roster, we have an open spot. But McCarthy also updated us on Micah Parsons, who in the beginning of the week was going to be in the rehab group, and according to McCarthy was making progress, and that he was going to try to work DaRon Bland into the regular practice as well this week. When it comes to McCarthy, as the week went on, McCarthy said that, Micah Parsons has not passed the return to play threshold yet at that point. And that basically he has to do something before Saturday to be able to have a chance to play against the Niners. Once I heard this on Thursday, I'm like, he ain't playing. McCarthy said this about Micah Parsons' ankle. Quote, Micah is improving. He'll be part of the rehab group. We don't have him set for reps. And when they asked what they need to see for him to be able to play, he said, quote, well, there's always a threshold of return to play. He's not over that yet. Until he can get out there and cut it loose, I think we have veteran players. And the general is if they don't practice on Saturday, they're not going to play in the game. If you're looking for a finish line, it would be being a full participant in the Saturday practice. Now, we know that before even Saturday's practice, he was already ruled out for this game. So,
which really sucks just because, again, most of us anticipated him being back by now.
Yeah, I mean...
including Micah himself.
Yeah, I mean, so you're looking at this, I know Mike McCarthy's speaking on the injury, but we know that, Micah Parsons... already, we hanging on by a thread at this point, right? McCarthy said, obviously, you'd like to have him going in pads first on Thursday, but Micah has played a lot of football for us, and he has a high understanding of our defense. That's the kind of general approach that I've always taken. So, again, Mike McCarthy blowing smoke up our ass here early in the week. We'll tell you what happened here in a minute for Micah. Now, the other injuries on the team and guys that were spoken about by Mike McCarthy and others. Yeah. DaRon Bland, let me get him up on the screen for you guys. Our cornerback, number 26, hasn't played yet for us this year. DaRon Bland was back with the rehab group, which was good news. But the bad news is McCarthy expected DaRon Bland to work on rehab and then take some practice reps, which would be a step forward. The cornerback, DaRon Bland, did not dress for the actual practice. He just did the warm-up. So that's him not practicing. That's not what was expected or hoped for. And you'll see what that unfortunately brings us. Unfortunately, that's not a good thing at all. Now, we also had Brandon Cooks, number 3 receiver for our Cowboys, our second receiver. Brandon Cooks was on the field. He's out 4 weeks on IR. He was on the field for rehab. He was first time he was on the field since his knee infection from that scope that he hadn't done in New York. He remains on IR. We know that. Glad to see that
he's recovering okay, though.
Yeah, when he was walking off the field, they were asking him, when he was walking on the practice field, he had his knees kind of out, like the rolled up, his pads rolled up over his knees, and he responded. He says, "You know what that means?" Meaning, his knees were showing. Yeah. It means that he's gearing up to be ready to go. Literally, exactly 4 weeks after his time is up on IR, he's ready to return. He said, basically, but he has to miss the full 4 weeks of games before being placed on IR. It's not 4 weeks; it's 4 weeks of games before being put on the IR. So. Still has to miss this Niner game and the Falcon game before he comes back against the Eagles. But all signs point to at least Brandon Cooks should be back for the Eagle game in a couple of weeks. And I'll give you the full rundown of the final injury report in a minute. But first, we have the man Jet Li, 44, giving his October message of the month as that star-level member for 41 months. One of the dominators here, one of the greats. What did Jet Li have to say?
Well, I guess we will see. The debut of Dalvin Cook tomorrow. We'll still be without Bland or Parsons too. We're going to need some help on defense and offense. We've got to get better on the O-line, and we need to play better. We're looking for 6. Thank you so much.
Yes, big shout out to him. We're looking for 6 wins. I know we got 5 Super Bowls, and we go for that 6. I don't think this year is a Super Bowl year, in my humble opinion. But hey, listen, we always support and rep that star for everything. Now, that's the Brandon Cooks situation. He's not on the injury report because Brandon Cooks is, on IR right now. So when you look at the injury report, the final injury report, something like Jet Li just said, Micah Parsons ruled out for this game against the Niners, which you guys already knew.
Yeah.
I said it in the title. Also, ruled out for this game, Deron Bland. Again, did not practice. Guys, Deron Bland did not practice the entire week. Micah Parsons did not practice the entire week. Both these guys are out for this game. Who knows when they come back next week against the Falcons? Maybe. I don't know. They're both out. There's two other guys that are ruled out. One of them is John Stevens, which is obviously he's out for the year.
Yeah.
With the torn ACL. And the other guy is the guy in a 21-day practice window, defensive tackle Jordan Phillips, that has that hurt, I'm putting this in air quotes, the hurt right wrist. But he said he never really hurt himself, but he's back, working his way back. He's out for this game. The Cowboys are not putting him on the 53-man roster yet. So those are the four guys that were ruled out.
You gotta learn to shut your mouth if you want to make that roster.
Yeah, those are the four guys that are ruled out. Obviously, Jordan Phillips not a big deal, and John Stevens, we know he tore his knee. He hasn't played much anyways. He hasn't even been active. But obviously, Deron Bland and Micah Parsons, two major starters on defense, out for this game again. Deron Bland hasn't played at all this year. Micah Parsons hasn't played, third game? 4 weeks he's been out. Third game he's missed. Not good. Now, we have a bunch of questionable guys. And, at important positions. Let's stay on. How about all three of them on defense? And I'm going to say, Kalen Carson, cornerback rookie, shoulder injury. He had full practice all week, but was listed as questionable. So, we need the cornerbacks. Without Deron Bland, I'll tell you what a move we made to help the cornerbacks. But Kalen Carson still has not been back since his injury, week 2, week 3? So he hasn't been back in a while, even though he had a full week of practice. Questionable for this game. You're also looking at Nick Vigil, who unfortunately, again, at linebacker, an important position for the Cowboys that we need to have shored up a little bit. He is questionable as well, and it's even worse for him with the foot injury. He was limited on Wednesday, and then did not practice on Thursday, and did not practice on Friday. So he's trending not playing.
Yeah.
He's trending away from. So
not
Nick,
a positive trend.
Right. So he's questionable, probably not going to play. So that's a linebacker spot we're missing. And then I'm going to say another guy here, and we'll go expand on him in a minute. The other questionable player for the team is middle linebacker, green dot, the leader of the defense in the sense of setting up players, Eric Kendricks. We'll talk about his situation in a minute. But first, big shout out to the man, A. Lavelle, silver level membership king. I mean, he's been here the longest consecutively and anybody else in our membership history. What did the man, A. Lavelle, say? Which, by the way, with that drop, he took over.
As the stream boss.
The stream boss. Hell yeah. Much love to A. Lavelle going into the Niner game, repping that stream boss. What did the man say?
What's up, MCF and MCW? What's good, everyone in the chat? Hope everyone is safe and healthy.
Thank you, sir. Big shout.
Gotta work this overnight, 3 p.m., 7 a.m. Gotta keep going, so let's turn this disaster around and get this win. Let's go, Cowboys.
Let's go, Cowboys. I hope so. I hope the bye week helps. I hope the reshuffling of the coaching mindsets helped. But we're not getting anyone back, really. So that's like, we got to play the Niners. They got some guys banged up. We'll talk about it, but they're tough. It's more than the players they have or don't have. To me, it's the scheme they use that hurts us more than the players. So we'll see what happens. I think it's a tough turn. But if we can, do that whole Cowboys always play better when we're the huge underdogs. If we get back on track and can pull out a win, that could change the season. That could change the mindset, the confidence. I'm just not going to put all my eggs in that feel good basket yet. But I need the Cowboys to prove it to me, to you, to us, the fan base, and to Mr. A. Lavelle as well. The Cowboys need to prove we've done our part. The fan base. We've been here for now it's time for the coaches and the players to take it to the next level, even if the owner and the GM has fucked us over. Can't overcome everything when it comes to the Cowboys. Big shout outs to Mr. A. Lavelle. And I'll make sure I put him up on that board. I think he broke away from that tie in 6th place, I think in 6th place, to be in 6th all by himself there, repping that spot with us. So appreciate you, and he's the stream boss of that stream. Now, the other injury maybe was Eric Kendricks, who's questionable. Now, I think he spoke earlier in the week. I think he even made a mention about his situation. But Eric Kendricks, the most we have, he's missed the last couple of games. The most we have is what he said most recently. On Tuesday, I think it was maybe.
Tuesday.
Wednesday. It was
Tuesday
Wednesday.
Or Wednesday.
What did Eric Kendricks? And let me throw up Mr. Eric Kendricks, because to me, very important position. That middle linebacker, he wears the green dot, which means he talks to Mike Zimmer, and he's the one that sets up all these young guys in position on defense. So what did Eric Kendricks say just a couple days ago?
So he
about
said,
his injury, I guess.
Yeah, he said, "I'm working hard to get back. I take very good care of my body, and I take it seriously. I'm a professional in all sense of it. I'll be a professional this week and let the chips fall where they may."
So it just sounds like he's just, grinding to try to get on that field. But, when you look at his situation, he has a shoulder injury. He was limited all week. So questionable, at least not Nick Vigil questionable. Like Nick Vigil is going to be out. But I think Kendricks has a slight chance to play. We got to hope he does. Kalen Carson, he was full practice. To me, he has the best chance to play. But still, with all of this stuff going on, we literally have five guys, and they're all defense, and they're all questionable. And three of those guys are starters. The other two guys are major. I mean, Kalen Carson is a starter right now until we get DeRon Bland back, and he's out. That's four starters currently. And then you look at the fact that we have even someone like Nick Vigil, who, if you have someone like Eric Kendricks out, you need Nick Vigil's a starter. You guys feel what I'm saying? It's like we're missing four starters and a pseudo starter. So, yeah, that's the situation there. Now, everybody else on the injury report for the Cowboys has been cleared. No injury designation. They're good to go for the game. Maurice Liufau at linebacker. He's a rookie. Had that shoulder issue. Full practice all week. Good to go for the game.
Thank goodness.
So that at least we got at least a couple of linebackers in here still on the team. Now, wide receiver Ryan Flournoy, rookie, with the ankle injury, missed last game. He was limited all week until Friday. He was full practice, and he has no injury designation, so he's good to go as well. And last but not least, and we're going to kind of move this to the next topic, which is our kicker, Brandon Aubrey. He did not practice the entire week, except for after practice, but he was listed as non-practice.
He had that jury selection.
Yep. Jury duty, he was selected, and now he's part of this case. So he missed, but even with all of that, there's no injury or game designation, which means he will play. Really our best player on our team. Let's be honest. The guy who scored the most points on our team. Brandon Aubrey. Now, here's the good news, the great news. We knew he was going to be good for the game, but today the Cowboys boarded the plane after practice and flew out to San Francisco. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey, who again did not practice with the team the entire week because of jury duty, was seen, and I saw it myself, walking onto the plane, traveling with the team to San Francisco, and he flew today with them with the team for tomorrow night's game against the Niners. So Aubrey's there, he's kicking, he's good to go. But in case you're wondering, what is his jury situation? Here's a little update on, basically the case that Brandon Aubrey is serving as a juror. The case will take closing arguments on Tuesday, 9 a.m., meaning that Aubrey has to be back at the Cowboys facility on Monday morning after traveling and playing in San Francisco on Sunday night. So he's got to be back Monday. He's got to be there for jury duty
Basically
Monday.
He has to leave as soon as the game is over.
Basically, maybe even faster than the rest of the team. Tuesday is a player's day off. So if closing arguments and a final verdict can be reached and come together on Tuesday, Aubrey won't have to miss any more practice scheduled time, which would be Wednesday is the next scheduled practice. Yeah. So again, right now, Monday you can miss, Tuesday you can miss if he needed to, but Wednesday it'd be great if he's back full time, and this thing looked like it could wrap up Tuesday afternoon, which is good news. Aubrey has not changed, like I said, his day-to-day practice routine this week, only when he practices. He's kicking the same amount of field goals and extra points and distances in the same way he does it. He's getting in work with special teams coordinator John Fossil at night after jury duty, after court. Another note, Aubrey will not be able to speak about this case until the trial is over. So even at his locker room or after the game, they say he hits the game winner. How'd you do it? That case you're talking about. How's that case? Can't talk about the case.
Yep.
Can't talk about football. Can't talk about the case. So that is the Brandon Aubrey. I mean the Brandon Aubrey situation. He's ready to go. Hopefully he'll be kicking them like he always does. Any quick thoughts in the chat before I get to maybe the biggest news of all this week for our Cowboys?
Yeah, of course.
Hit up the chat. A couple quick comments, maybe.
Cam and AZ said, I hope y'all are right.
About which part?
I think quite a few things. Matt Batten said, it's not good for the Dallas Cowboys. So, Seabass said, give Prescott a healthy O-line, reliable running back, and a triple wide receiver threat. He's on course or on par to make 5K passing yards this year.
Yeah, I mean, we know it. You know how that means. So we're paying a guy $60 million, but he needs all the best guys around him. That's the big complaint about Dak. But again, I always said, if you put it on Dak's shoulders, he ain't going to be pulling it out every single time.
Yeah, Balls Deep Adventures said, the Cowboys are going to have money to play with next season. They'll have over $20 million. We have over $20 million to play with now, so we're not going to sign anybody this season.
Here's the thing. So the Cowboys sometimes have that in case the last-minute trade before November 5th or some kind of move for the season, some cheap free agent.
Oh, Jerry has doubled and tripled down and swears up and down that's not happening.
Let me tell you what happens with that $20 million, though. And much love to Balls Deep. I know he's on the After Dark sessions as well. I appreciate all the Cowboy fans and people that jump over here from there. But I will say this. It's easy to say that $20 million is sitting right there. We'll move that to next year and just get players next year. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones will do the same thing they do every year. Take that money, roll it over, and say we need it for Dak's contract. We need it for CD's contract. We need it for Micah's contract. Trayvon Diggs' anybody else. They will say we need it for. They'll continue to sign low-level free agents. They will not sign anyone next year either. We've seen this from the Cowboys over and over and over and over and over again. It is their yearly, routine, off-season routine. We know it. The only thing they really put all their resources in is the draft because you don't have to negotiate.
Yeah. When
you draft somebody, they're just on your team and you just give them the money and cheap money. So that's Jerry Jones's way of doing things, and the MO of this organization is draft your own guys, pay your own guys, but look what happens, right? When you hit on some guys, you got to pay your own guys, and then the management sucks so bad about when to pay them. They pay them so late, they overpay them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a vicious fucking cycle.
Yeah,
it never ends.
Pfeiffer, that's awesome. Saying her 7-year-old grandson's a Cowboy fan.
I know.
Now.
She had announced that over After Dark. We love seeing the Cowboy fandom grow, baby. You know it. Big shout outs to Pat and her family.
So, no, I think we touched on most of the comments here.
So now let's get to maybe the best news, I guess, for the Cowboy fan base. Listen, all I'm really listen, I hope the Cowboys make the playoffs, win the Super Bowl, and yay, we got 6. The reality is, we're probably not. I don't even know if we'll make the playoffs. Let's see Brandon Aubrey hit that fucking game. That all-time record-breaking kick, a field goal. Remember, the record's 67 yards. Let him kick a 70-yarder. Anything. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to this year. And another thing a lot of Cowboy fans are looking forward to this year was Dalvin Cook. That we got him on the practice squad for 7 fucking weeks. Never used them once. Mike McCarthy was asked about Dalvin Cook, if he's going to be activated for this game in San Francisco earlier this week. And McCarthy said, Dalvin's ready. I really like the work he's putting in. And he also added later on, quote, he's in position to play. Now, a lot of people say he looked a little undersized. People don't understand he's not a big guy. But he's healthy, he is in shape, and he's ready to go. Now, Stephen Jones was asked also about Dalvin Cook, and it sounded, the next day he was asked about Dalvin Cook, and it sounded like even more signs pointing towards Dalvin Cook being elevated, which we know he will be. But on 105 Through the Fan, Stephen Jones said, quote, Dalvin Cook has been doing the job and doing his work in, week out, like the professional that he is. Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer have been talking to us about how it's time for him to get his opportunity. We'll see how everything goes tomorrow and then make that call. So, obviously, it's McCarthy and offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer pushing for Dalvin Cook to play because the Joneses don't want Dalvin Cook playing. It seems like.
Hey, at least it sounds like this time
they're listening.
Finally, grudgingly listen.
7 motherfucking weeks in. Now, I will say this. The first 2-3 weeks getting into the rhythm, getting acclimated, I understand. But now and I know the last couple of weeks we had some injury situation. We needed certain guys up. Finally, we're going to see Dalvin Cook. And listen, here's what I want to say to you guys about that. I really want to know what you guys think about this. But the Cowboys officially are elevating Dalvin Cook. This was announced earlier today, which is, I guess the biggest news. But we're elevating Dalvin Cook from the practice squad for this one game against Sunday night against the Niners. Former Pro Bowler from the Vikings, had a bad year there last year with the Jets, making his Dallas debut Sunday night at the Niners. So, now, the word is, and we've talked about this, that Dalvin Cook has been tearing shit up in practice. So he's been looking good in practice.
Yeah.
Looks fit, ready to go. Going to get his first game action. It's going to be in primetime. Sunday Night Football against the Niners. Everyone's going to see him. This, to me, is this a Jerry Jones ploy, you think? But this, to me, creates a big question. Who's going to get less snaps? Which running back is going to get less snaps? Which running back will have to maybe even be inactive for this game? And I think the answer is going to be someone like Ezekiel Elliott. And the reason is, if he loses snaps or is inactive, you got to remember, these running backs we have in our team do not really... Rico Dowdle, when it comes to coverage and blocking, does not really contribute to special teams. Neither does Zeke. Now, Rico Dowdle is our quote-unquote starter. Dalvin Cook's not going to come in and start. I think basically Dalvin Cook's taking some of the snaps from Zeke. In my opinion, that's what I would think happens there. I still don't see that Dalvin Cook is this magical fix at running back. I don't buy it. I would love to see him do it, but I don't.
I have to agree with you, especially just because, again, had he been the magic fix, we probably would have seen him before week 8.
Not only that.
Just throwing that out there.
Not only that, but I mean, even if you look, he might look better than Zeke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that maybe you might see more of a Rico Dowdle combination with Dalvin Cook in the near future. And Zeke might have to be phased out, although we heard the Joneses saying they're saving him for later. I mean, I guess we're saving
I don't know
Zeke.
when later is.
I don't know, but Zeke saved for later. He didn't look good now. You know what I'm saying? Even the few snaps he had. So we'll be talking a little bit more later tonight about the running game, how important it's going to be for the Cowboys, and hopefully, Seabass, you can provide your insight on that. But I don't see this being a fix with Dalvin Cook, but I do see maybe a little jolt giving to this running back room. And maybe, if we see something from Dalvin Cook, it's change. Any change is good at this point, in my opinion, for this team. So I would love to be wrong about the fact that it's going to make a big difference. But remember a couple things. We don't run that much. When we're down by a lot, we run less. So even our best running back, which is Rico Dowdle, and he's getting like over 4 yards a carry. He barely gets enough carries to make a difference in the run game. Zeke, he's getting like 2 yards a carry. I mean, that's horrific. Dalvin Cook should be able to pass 2 yards a carry, right? So I'm just saying, a little change, maybe a little improvement, and maybe a lot more running the ball by the coaching. Those are the things that would help this team, this running game, and this offense be better. It wouldn't be Dalvin Cook. It would be the scheme, in my opinion. For the most part.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to say all the other, before I hear what you guys think about Dalvin Cook, some other housekeeping duties for the Cowboys. We moved officially today tight end John Stevens Jr., who tore his ACL out for the year, season-ending injury. We moved them over to IR, to injured reserve, where he now opens up a roster spot on our 53-man main roster, right? The Cowboys have a cornerback on the practice squad named Amani Oruwari, number 27. He's been elevated, I think, 3 times already. He probably would have been elevated if he had any elevations this week, but because we have an open spot in the team, and I don't know if we had any elevations for him yet, he was the guy the Cowboys chose to sign the contract, sign him to the 53-man roster, and he now will be he obviously has played the best out of our backups. Still not playing very good. Not very good. A guy who's basically picked off another team, practice squad. Our practice squad, playing okay, nothing special, now part of our 53-man roster. To replace the spot that the tight end, John Stevens Jr., left going on injured reserve. So I just wanted to break it down. Any quick comments, maybe, about Dalvin Cook and any roster moves here that I just discussed? Before we break down, it's time, guys, the Niner game, and maybe, just a maybe, very soon, Seabass, get ready to get on the telephone, on the podcast here. Yeah, the MCF hotline, so you can jump up here and give your 2 cents on this game. Specifically, we talked a lot last week with you about the season so far, what we need to do going forward. We want to focus on this game, and we want you to break it down with us. So get ready to jump on in here for that, Seabass. But, baby, give me a couple of thoughts and comments from the rest of the crew here.
Well, Mr. Seabass actually said, a lot of us fans like to judge the running back position so hardcore, but if this team tweaked the schematics just a little bit and stopped leaning on the inside but rather the outside, it's a vast improvement.
And I think it's also, to be specific, Seabass, focus the outside runs to guys like Rico Dowdle. Don't run the ball to the outside with Ezekiel Elliott, who's doesn't have that speed, right? Exactly. If the Cowboys run to the outside with Zeke, it's just not going to be as good as if you run with someone like Rico, right? So you got to use the guy in the right place. You don't want to run Rico inside every time. You want to run Zeke more, Dalvin Cook more, maybe a little more inside, or have a play, a screen to Dalvin Cook or Zeke, or Rico. You can use these guys, use them right, use them for their strengths, and don't use them in their weaknesses. That's all. Anyways, I hear you, Seabass.
No, all good. Asmodeus said Cook will be serviceable if the blocking is serviceable,
and that's always been the issue. I think it's two things. I think it is the scheme that we mentioned, Seabass mentioned, the scheme that we just don't run the ball that much. Usually we're down by a lot, so we don't run that much. And also the lack of good run blocking in general by this offensive line. We know we're not great at pass blocking, a little bit better at the run blocking. Still, we don't run enough, and our run blocking ain't that great. So it's a lot of reasons why,
Mm-hmm. So, let me see here. Better play calling, right?
Agree, balls,
back. Kathy Martis, what's up? Much love.
Kathy.
Thanks for rocking with us.
Kathy in the house.
I think we kind of touched on most of the comments there. So
let's keep it rolling, because we're almost to the point where we have the call-in, the hotline, MCF hotline from one of our fantastic Over Everything members. He's back in it again, which means
get that 49ers
breakdown. But we got to remember, Mr. Seabass now has another one. We'll probably see him in November for his current addition to the Over Everything crew.
That's right.
So we owe him another appearance next month. We just got caught up tonight. We're going to get caught up. Well, we got one for you in November as well. But let me go to the Niners here. And, I just talked a shitload about the Cowboys, injuries and injury. The Niners were banged up coming into this, but they're not as bad, I think, as we are. Not even close, actually, even though they came in pretty bad. So just so you guys know, the big name guys for this game here, Deebo Samuel with the wrist and pneumonia, George Kittle with the foot. Both guys are questionable for this game. And those are the two big names that you're seeing. Of course, George Kittle, questionable. I think they're all going to play. That's my opinion. And I'll explain what happened in a minute here. But George Kittle seems to play he has the foot issue. Could stop him, but just something to watch. George Kittle's foot injury. And Deebo Samuel with the wrist and the illness. The Cowboys, even though they say he probably should rest, they are practicing as if he's going to play.
Okay.
So Deebo Samuel, Shanahan said this, quote, "We've gone slow with him. We didn't push him that hard knowing what the issue is. But it has gotten better each and every day, and that's why I'm hoping that continues for Sunday." So to me, Deebo Samuel, he's playing this game. Now, those are the guys that are questionable there. Kittle, Deebo Samuel. You got George Odom at safety. He has a knee issue. He was limited in practice the last 2 days. He's also listed as questionable for this game. And Damondor, I don't know how I can say Damondor Lenore. Cornerback has an illness. He was limited today. It looks like he just got sick today. Or Friday he got sick.
That is some shitty timing.
Questionable for the game. He still may play, though, if he gets over it. So, 4 guys questionable. The 2 main guys I discussed already. Deebo Samuel, who I think will play, and George Kittle, who I think will play. So, both guys will look like they're trending to play. Now, a bunch of guys here that are not on the injured report. Even they're going to play, even though they were banged up during the week. Trent Williams, their fantastic tackle. He had just a veteran day this week, but practiced in full. He's good to go. They also had Jordan Mason, their running back. I'm going to discuss him because we got to stop the run. And Jordan Mason, no Christian McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason is their starter, and he's done great. Shoulder injury for him. Running backs, that could be major. He was limited until Friday. He was full practice Friday. He is good to go for the game. We also have Chris Conley, wide receiver with an ankle injury, limited all week until Friday full. Good to go for the game. And same thing for Nick Bosa. Joey Bosa is with the Chargers. Nick Bosa, the fantastic edge rusher. He has an elbow injury. Limited in practice on Wednesday and Thursday, but Friday, full practice. He is good to go.
All right.
A little more insight on him. Joey Bosa said that he's expecting to play. I guess with the Cowboys, he said he's been dealing with a kind of an elbow issue, a glute strain. So it kind of said it hurt. It kind of bothered his sciatic nerve a little bit. He said it's some of the worst pain he's dealt with, but he's overcoming that. And he's good to go with the elbow injury, too. He said he's fine. He expected to be on a snap count, possibly, if it was going to be worse.
Yeah.
But he's good to go for the game. So, again, he's good. Nick Bosa, good to go for this game. Now, there's 3 guys that are listed as out for the Niners. And, 2 of them are starters, I think, here. You got Kevin Givens, defensive tackle with a groin issue. They're not practiced all week. He's out for this game. But the other 2 guys, kicker Jake Moody, he is ruled out for the game. And again, he has a right ankle injury. Obviously, as a kicker, you need your right ankle. So he's out for the game, their kicker. And Jawan Jennings, who without Brandon Ayuk was the guy stepping up in his spot, he's also ruled out for this game. That's a major loss for them at receiver. Jawan Jennings has a hip injury. Did not practice all week. Officially out for the game. So those are some key absences, especially when you add in there Christian McCaffrey out for this game. Brandon Ayuk, of course, out for the year. So, guys, a lot of banged up players for this. I would say more on offense for them. We're banged up on defense. So when their offense on the field and our defense on the field, it's like the Walking Dead out there. Everyone's like banged up zombies. But that's the way it looks injury-wise. I will say that the Niners did make a move, actually 2 elevations today.
Okay.
And just real quick, I want to make, because again, it's important to note, they don't have a kicker. Moody is out for this game.
True.
And we talked about the safety situation. Some guys are banged up. They brought up Adrian Amos, who's a known safety, and kicker Anders Carlson. I think one of the Carlson brothers. They got 2 kickers in the league, if it's not mistaken, Green Bay and the Raiders. Here's the 3rd guy here, Anders Carlson, kicker. So, veteran safety Adrian Amos, set to make his debut with the Niners Sunday night against the Cowboys. He was elevated from the practice squad, along with the kicker Anders Carlson from the practice squad. They both available for the Week 8 game against the Cowboys at Levi Stadium. Carlson was signed to the practice squad after injuries to both their kickers, Jake Moody and Matthew Wright. That's some bad luck. Both their kickers are hurt. So they had to sign, what's his name? Anders Carlson there. Moody expected to be back after their bye week, after he got a high ankle sprain for the October 6th game against the Cardinals. And then Wright, he sustained a shoulder injury while making a tackle and a kickoff on October 10th. I'm talking about the kicker, the backup kicker. So that's how both guys are out here. So they put them on injured reserve. Both kickers, one kicker injured reserve, the other kicker out for this game. So this Anders Carlson was now brought up from the practice squad. Mm-hmm. He is now their kicker for this game. He made both field goal attempts. including his long of 55 yards. So even if he's a third string kicker, he's still hitting him for 55 yards out. Something to keep watching in this game. Can we get under his skin? And I don't know. He didn't seem to have a problem last week with a 55-yard field goal, at least. But then he also missed an extra point against the Chiefs in their loss, 28-18.
Maher thing to do.
Maharati-like. The point is, he's inconsistent. He's their third string kicker. If they need to win the game with him, it could be an issue, is all I'm trying to say.
Definitely don't rule out the possibility that they end up obviously going for two.
Yeah, that could happen if the kicker has some issues. Just saying, though, kicker going into this game could be an issue for them with their injury.
Yeah.
And then Amos, like I said, he joined the Niners practice squad 2 weeks ago, and he's going to play in his 10th season in the NFL. He began his career 4 years with Chicago and 4 more with the Packers before now finally debuting his skills with the Niners against our Cowboys. Sunday Night Football coming right up. So for this matchup against the Niners, and I'm going to put this up here for just because fuck the Niners. Hopefully that's what happens after the game. But the Week 8 matchup to watch for, Cowboy stats, 21 points per game is what we're averaging, but the Niners are allowing 22.6 points per game. So we should hit that number or somewhere in that range. They don't have that stellar defense they had the last couple of years. But when it comes to their offense, they score in about 25 a game. We're allowing 28. So they definitely, if it goes by these numbers, they beat us by like 3. You know what I mean? It's a close game in the 20s by both teams. We only rush for 77.2 yards and throw for 259.3 yards, which is not bad. But we can only rush for, we're the worst rushing yard team in the NFL. While their defense, they're allowing 113 yards a game rushing, which is a lot for the Niners. But they're only allowing 205 passing yards per game. So they're really shutting down the pass. But we're pretty good in the pass. So that's going to be a good battle. We'll talk about that here tonight. When you look at the Niners, their rushing yards, they're running for 150 yards a game. They're going to run on your ass all day long. And that's without Christian McCaffrey. They're throwing for 254 yards a game with Purdy. So, again, only 5 yards.
Thank you for answering that, because my first question was going to be, I'm like, did those stats include McCaffrey or not?
Well, of course it does the first week or two, but then it's mainly been their backup. So, passing yards, though, it's about 5 yards back on the Cowboys' passing yards when it comes to them. Our defense, we allow 143 rushing yards. So, per game. That's basically what the Niners are going to hit that mark. And we allow 213 passing yards, which is pretty good. But the Niners are going to test us for sure. Again, they're missing some receivers, so they shouldn't be necessarily in full blast and best modes either. Total yards per game allowed, we allow 356 on defense. And they allow only 318 on defense. So they do have a overall good. I don't think it's not as great as they were in the last couple of years. They have a good defense. Ours has a lot of holes and issues. They have a +2 in turnover differential, which means when you take their fumbles and they have their issues on offense and turnovers on offense, and you add up their turnovers on defense, they are +2. They have 2 more turnovers taken away than lost. We are -6 in turnover differential, meaning we've given the ball away 6 more times than we've taken it from the other teams. Very, very bad statistics for our Cowboys. And I will get into this here now. I guess we're going to break it down here. I do want to shout out, though, somebody here before we get to our special guest.
Mm-hmm. By the way, is going to, give us a ring here in just a moment.
Yeah, I don't know what. Well, here's the thing. I know Pat Pfeiffer in the house. I wish I could do this for Pat, but I cannot do this. She said she dropped a $5 holler in the Cash App, which, by the way, with that right there, it puts Pat Pfeiffer in the lead.
Way to go, Pat.
For the Cash App crown, the Cash App queen. So she's right there, and she just jumped, skeptical. You can say he's the champion right now. She just jumped Mr. What's his name? Her, right? James Her.
Yeah. Just
jumped him. And Pat Pfeiffer is now in first place on the Cash App. But her comment is, please, for membership, it won't let me. So maybe there's a way you can drop like the membership link, That's the only we cannot put people in memberships, right? I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, we can't do it on our side. The other thing is maybe somebody can technically gift you a membership.
That's another way, true. But that's you can't really. It can't be gifted though by choice, though, no. Right?
But in order to be quote unquote eligible, right? YouTube has their own little rules. You basically just have to say yes, I would like to. So here, wrong command. Is it gifts?
What are you looking for?
Is it gifts? Right?
Member. Maybe.
Okay, that's for the membership.
Yeah. Oh, gifts. Yeah, with the
S.
It's
gifts. There we go, with the S.
But that's more if she has to get lucky to get gifted, though. You know, you can't.
I know. I'm hoping one of the two works. So
all right,
it sounds like it's more of a Gmail situation. So sorry to hear that, Pat.
We would love for you to be part of the Navy Blue. Any crew you want to be part of there. It looks like the Navy crew would be where she's at. But yeah, I wish we can work that for you.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Pat Pfeiffer. Appreciate it.
Pat Pfeiffer in the lead now.
The Lunatic said, "Why pass when our run defense is leaking worse than the Titanic?"
Exactly. There's no need to even pass the ball if they really don't have to pass the ball at all.
Thomas Garrett said the defense better be ready. San Francisco may flip the script. They may start passing instead of running tomorrow.
I guess they could.
The Lunatic also throwing out there 8 interceptions in the past 4 games for the 49ers. They need to protect the ball Sunday night.
Yeah, they've had some issues.
And we have had a lack of turnovers.
Yeah,
like a glaring lack of turnovers.
We do not get turnovers from it. From our defense not get us turnovers. By the way, there you go. Pat Pfeiffer officially. I know right now she wanted to be in the membership, but we cannot. We literally cannot do anything about that. So she is currently. If that's okay with you, Pat, you are the leader right now on the Cash App board. Mm-hmm. And I'll actually have to update the actual leaderboard anyways. So hit up a couple more comments, and I'm going to get the phone number.
Mr. Seabass is still getting set up, so go ahead and set it up on our side as well here.
Yes, I'll get it set up. Hit up the chat, a couple more comments.
Of course.
Let's rock and roll.
James Hurst said, the Whiners are going to run the ball 40 times. Just watch. So, as Moni said, move that wheelchair away from the First Lady. So don't worry. The proper respect is being shown to me now. So... Let me see. By the way, James here also threw out there Dallas. Dallas are the most times. If Dallas are most times in a 3rd and long, then they're losing.
Exactly. You can't do that.
And the thing is that it's funny because we can obviously say that now about this current team, but I mean, I feel like that's just a general football situation. Like if you constantly find yourself in 3rd and longs, you are almost guaranteeing you're putting yourself in a situation where you're not going to convert many of those. Just you're making it that much more difficult. So, let me see.
See, I mean, that comes down on 1st and 2nd downs and how you call the plays and how you succeed and execute the plays. Your success on 1st and 2nd determines 3rd down and 8 is a whole different ballgame than 3rd down and 2. You can run or pass from there. You get defenses guessing.
Well, the Lunatic said here, coaching malfeasance. It took an injury to the tight end to bring up Dalvin Cook. That's very typical Cowboys.
Yeah. No, it's 100% disgusting, but it is typical Cowboys. Unfortunately, not surprising though, right? We all are used to this from the Cowboys. Is no surprise. 0.0.
So, let me see. Rolling back a little bit here. Kathy Mardis said they found a kicker that's good, not good that existed, but good that they at least found one.
Yeah, I mean they had this a 3rd one. We'd love for them to kick some field goals in this game from distance, from a long distance.
Balls Deep said that Rico's going to get snaps and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Rico and Dalvin this game. 100% agree with Balls Deep. I do think that it's going to be a Dalvin Cook combo there with Dalvin Cook will be the second guy to Rico.
Yeah.
And you may see some Hunter Lipke, number 40, in the mix there. So we'll see how that goes. I do know we have a guy about to break this in here and call us in. Pat, again, I see you in there. She's good with that. So she is the
all right,
she's
perfect.
The Cash App queen.
Nice.
Not the Cash App queen. She's the Cash App leader.
The leader right now.
For that crown, to be the queen. I will, more importantly here, get the man we all know, part of that Over Everything crew. We got Chill Pill, who's in the Over Everything crew here, outside of being a 3-month in a row champion over on After Dark. But here she's also the part of the over everything elite, the most elite level you can get in. But so is the man Seabass, and I see him calling. And I promise I'll get it for you here in a minute. Here, Seabass. I'm clearing the pictures. I'm clearing this out for you here. So we'll get ourselves back. There we are. We're back in the mix. And there's Seabass. You see him jumping right on here for us in a minute, and we will make sure he gets his multiple cents in on what he thinks about this upcoming game. And I have some things to discuss. We have some of our own kind of notes we want to talk about with Mr. Seabass. So let me get it going. Sorry about that, Seabass. I will. What happened here? Why is that doing that? I'm having an issue on my side. But I should have it up in a moment here.
Yeah, while we wait for that, make sure to take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
That's right, and I think we're good now. Let's see. Let's see if it's working. Not up yet.
That's not the part that needs to work.
I know, baby. Here it is. Yeah, I think we're going to need one more call from him.
All right. So, fingers crossed we get that going here. DeLunatic, by the way, said Big Mike better have spent this time in his barn and come up with a PITT is in Pittsburgh game type play calling.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna call right back here. I do apologize. As soon as the next time he calls, we're good. But one of the things that came out of this bye week, and this is kind of what I'm starting off with, is Dak Prescott using his legs.
Why don't we call him instead? We should be able to call him on our side.
Okay, let me double check that. Let me get that. Yes. Yeah, but I want to make sure we don't forget to say about Dak there for a quick. Let me see.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's that. That's there. You go.
Let's see how this goes.
Hello.
What's going on, family?
There we go. What's up, Mr. Seabass?
Sorry about that.
Don't apologize to me. I think that's more on my end. I do apologize. I got that Vietnam Wi-Fi going on right now.
We tried to get. I have to open up a certain window on my side to get your phone call in here. So apologize.
Yeah, it just kind of crashed on us for a second. But thank you for taking time out of your day, your night, to come and hang with us, talk Dallas Cowboys here, Mr. Seabass, of course, as the over everything, one of the little perks here. So we wanted to have you on here to break down the 49ers, since the last time we had you on, we basically spent the whole time talking about everything wrong with this team.
Yeah, everything up to that point, right? Up to basically before the bye week here,
now we have
right?
new problems to discuss.
Yeah, but, always appreciate your thoughts, man. I hope first and foremost, hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're, everything is good with you right now as we're entering the final months of the year. So, let us know what you think about this game. I guess a quick thought process about this upcoming game against the Niners.
Well, I can't do that. I can't do that just yet. MCF, MCW, how you guys doing? How's the family?
Awesome, brother. We are doing well.
I know Milton just passed, and maybe it was mild upon you folks, but it wasn't upon many other folks, including my relatives, my family. I shared a little bit of information about that with y'all, but I'm glad to see that you guys are still doing well.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
I love that. That's
very lucky.
I know, unfortunately, your family was hit a little harder than we were here on our side, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we
never mind all that. You guys are good. You guys got young ones there, so that's good. That's good. I like the camera footage that you guys put out. I think it was MCF after dark. Right?
Yeah. We put out a little bit of the hurricane.
That camera that was out front.
Yep.
That was filming live. Yeah. I followed that the whole time. Because, honestly, that scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry, my language, but that scared the shit out of me.
You know what? You would have been.
Still cracks me up. Yeah, because 15 minutes after we shut it down was the worst it was.
We had to shut it down, but because we thought it was done, but we were literally in the eye. So when it went out the other side, it was the worst. It was. We were a little bit nervous. So we didn't lose. If we didn't have it shut down, you would have seen it. It would have been really scary. you would have been really like, oh damn, the street lights
I probably
moving.
would have cut it off.
Yeah, we had to because the music was like YouTube didn't want us to play music anymore, so it just
little courtyard that you have. It was so peaceful. I mean, there was a little gust of wind here and there, but it was very peaceful.
Yeah.
Very peaceful.
After literally like minutes after we went down, it went crazy again. So yeah, it was really bad. Like it was the worst. It was the whole hurricane. So it was a little nerve wracking. I'm glad you guys didn't see that part. It scared you.
You bleed blue because we bleed blue.
Oh yeah.
And your kids bleed blue. They were born with blue blood. Hopefully, no Eagles in that family. Hopefully,
it's all navy, blue, and silver. That's it.
Yeah, we bleed blue and silver.
Yeah. Hey, listen, for this game against the Niners, I'm gonna tell you this. I think coming out of this bye week, I'm gonna start an offense. I think a lot of it's going to be one of the things we need to see, not just in this game, but maybe the entire rest of the year. But I'm focusing on this game. Is Dak Prescott using his legs more? And let me just quickly say this: that you've been talking about Dak using his legs a lot, and he just seems to stop himself from doing it.
Yeah.
To me, if he's not going to do it on his own, he needs more designed runs from the coaching staff. He's used his legs pretty much not at all after the injury in 2020.
Which understandable, but we took away a big part of what made Dak so threatening. Yeah,
I mean a dual threat. So the Cowboys' passing attack has been one of the strengths with the Cowboys and McCarthy, since he's been with us. I will say that overall, but the Cowboys have not needed to use his legs to kind of spark the offense in the recent years. This year is a different story, right? This year teams have figured out running game's not a threat. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, no one scares anybody on on opposing, on our offensive side, our star players.
No names
CeeDee Lamb's exactly
outside of Lamb for the offense.
Yeah, only CeeDee Lamb. So Dak's one of the best rushers from the quarterback position, at least early in his career. In 61 games before he got injured.
Seen that since 2020, like you just said. If he's the best, where's that Dak?
Yeah, I'm saying before the injury, he rushed 259 times for 1,300 yards and 24 touchdowns. Yeah, in his career at that point before the injury. In the 45, that was in 61 games. In 45 games after the injury, he's only run 157 times instead of 259, and he's only run for basically right under 600 yards and only 5 touchdowns. So the Cowboys have stopped running.
In that graphic, you're telling me Lamar Jackson has run less times in the last 2 years than Dak ran prior to his injury in that one single season. Holy fucking shit.
Well, when Dak ran the ball 259 times, that's all from all his years combined before the injury. Not just 1 year.
Okay.
Oh no. He wasn't that kind of running back.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be
like a really impressive streak there.
Yeah, 1,300 running, he's a running back.
MCW? I was like, wow, okay. I digress.
No. Yeah, but I'm saying if you look at the game,
it's still impressive.
It's still only 61 games. He's run for 1,300 yards and 24 touchdowns in the last 45 games. So what's that? Like 16 games less? He only has 157 rushes for 595 yards and 5 touchdowns. My point is that his running ability.
Mofo, the goddamn MVP.
Listen, he stopped running. The Cowboys did not have to use his legs because he's done so well throwing the ball the last couple of years. But now we don't have that, so we need his legs back. And the Cowboys, to me, involving Dak Prescott in the offense with more designed runs, can be a key to unlocking a little more success this year, maybe in the run game, dual quarterback threat. I think that's a major step forward. You look at our offense, we score what? I said we're 21 points per game. That's 20th in the NFL. That's not good. In the third on third downs, we're 10th in third downs, which is a lot to do with Dak actually. Yeah. In the red zone, we're 30. In the red zone, we're 31st in the NFL. In the red zone.
Oh God.
And Dak has taken 16 sacks in 6 games. And he has a quarterback percentage, I think 15? A quarterback percentage of 29.5. Horrible for the quarterback.
I'm so sorry. Did you say 15 sacks or 16? You cut out
16 sacks.
16, 1-6.
Hey,
Copy that.
sweet
Okay,
16.
Okay.
16 in 6 games, still too much. The offensive line is having issues, and that's why one of the things I'm going to say here, and I do want to hear. This one's going to be a little different than our usual discussions because I'm going to kind of go through some topics, and I want your 2 cents on it, Seabass. So now that we kind of understand Dak's running abilities, maybe using that a little bit more in this game and really this season, but offense is not very good. Red zone horrible. Points per game below average, taking a lot of sacks. So to me, obviously, a major part of this thing, Terrence Steele, Tyler Smith, our offensive line. And you know who else? The rookie, Tyler Guyton, who's going to probably start at left tackle. And he's going to go up not just against Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is going to go up against Terrence Steele. That's a big matchup in its own.
Yeah.
But to me,
because Nick Bosa moves around.
Exactly. And Nick Bosa is gonna be seeing mostly Terrence Steele though. We talked about this the other night. He plays mainly on the left side of the line. He plays against usually the right tackle 70% of the time. They might use Nick Bosa more on Guyton this game. But
MCF, I got to call you to the carpet because you told me to do this our last
let's go.
chat.
Yes, do
You're
it.
right. You're right. You told me the last chat. You said, don't come back at me, fans, if I'm correct. But they're probably going to move Bosa around, but they're probably going to exploit Guyton a lot. You said that in our last chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Right.
I mean, right as of this point, Bosa is usually going to go against Terrence Steele, usually, right? But I do agree with you.
He's a rookie.
I think they're going to move it. They're going to move him a lot over to Guyton. But let's say they want Bosa on Terrence Steele because Terrence Steele is going to be that. I don't think Terrence Steele is going to be able to handle him too much. So So what happens when Tyler Guyton goes against the other guy on their? And again, you got to remember they have a fantastic pass rusher in Leonard Floyd, formerly of the Rams.
Okay.
Leonard Floyd is going to exploit Tyler Guyton, and so here's the thing. I don't want to go to the easy matchup.
Floyd?
The easy matchup is Bosa versus Tyler Guyton, right?
Yeah.
But let's go into what's probably going to be the bigger.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
No,
all right.
no,
Hit me with it.
No. Terrence Steele might appear as if he's lacking, but folks, and I don't want to sound like the rest of these fans. We should be, as far in the season to where we should have shored this shit up. Excuse my French. But we're lacking. But at minimum, I'm not giving him any kudos. At minimum, Terrence Steele is still the vet. Guyton, on the other hand, that's the one that Shanahan's going to want to exploit. And I know you know this, MCF. I know you know that at the LOS, down in the trenches where it gets nitty and gritty, that's where it starts. Ain't nobody running anything. Ain't nobody throwing any sort of air attack if it doesn't come from that LOS trenches.
Yeah, and outside of the Cleveland game,
there.
Guyton has not been able to hold up.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, just outside of the Cleveland game, Guyton has not been able to hold up.
Absolutely. And that's a valid point because, we all got sold on the gerrymandering. I know that's a real word. We got sold on I stole that from somebody else. Don't give me credit for that.
I like it though.
I think it was like the lunatic or somebody else. I can't remember. But somebody said gerrymandering, and that word just stuck. He's got his own word in the dictionary.
That's true. That's a great word.
But the man literally saw Guyton struggle, and, I'd like to say he's GM Jerry, President Jerry, owner Jerry, head coach Jerry, because,
Dictator Jerry.
It's Jerry everything there. Mike McCarthy is a yes man, but Jerry is C-A, capital C-A-N-O, Cojones, his last name. No cojones. He is Jerry No Cojones. He literally will watch his team struggle and say, I like the talent that we have. I know that you guys haven't addressed the comments made by our esteemed owner, and I won't delve into or disrupt what your guys' playbook is for this stream, but I see Guyton being the one, as pertaining to your question last, he's going to be the one that they'll expose most. And it doesn't matter that even if Terrence Steele, and I don't know if this is a fact or not, if Terrence Steele factually, statistically on paper is doing worse. Shanahan is going to exploit Tyler Guyton.
So here's the thing. I think that the way that the Niners play, there's an advantage for Bosa when he rushes. They move him around, but he has an advantage when he rushes the right tackle. Mm-hmm. He's just better pure rusher at the right tackle spot than rushing at the right tackle from the left side. So he's just normally better there. Now, the other thing I want to say, Leonard Floyd is also better going against left tackles. So when you look at
it plays off their natural skill set.
Yeah, you look at Bosa, he'll jump around, they'll move it around and stuff, but he's mainly still going to play against Terrence Steele, in my opinion. They don't have to. They don't have to use Bosa against Guyton to expose Guyton. That's my point. My point is Leonard Floyd is enough to expose Guyton, and I think Leonard Floyd. I'm going to say this. I think Leonard Floyd would have problems against Terrence Steele. And then Bosa would still exploit Guyton. Right, you know what I mean?
Can I start? I want to challenge that.
Go ahead. Definitely chime in.
That's a lovely topic because you said it, and I want to challenge that question. Do you? Because you said he's enough. Do you think Leonard Floyd? I'm not gassing Terrence Steele. I think most folks in the chat. I think Cowboys-Family. Abroad, we can agree. Terrence Steele, he's lacking.
Yeah,
he's slacking as well. Okay, so I'm not going to gas this man, but I don't. Okay, there are folks who come into this league, and there are folks who have been in this league, right, where they started off as a nobody, a fourth-round draft pick like that, or a seventh-round draft pick like Mr. Irrelevant, System QB Brock Purdy, whatever his name is, and then someone extending to whoever name you can think of, right? These players pan out to how they pan out, but in this league, we know if you got it or you don't. This name, how you just mentioned, do you think, and I'm not gassing Terrence, like I said, do you think that he's enough?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really?
I do, because here's the thing. Leonard Floyd, again, if he played on Terrence Steele's side, he would, that's his worst side for Leonard Floyd. So you would, I think that he would do, I think he would do, hello?
Do you mean like,
here's what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is Leonard Floyd would still be. I think he'd still be enough to give Terrence Steele problems. Obviously, not like Nick Bosa would, but I think Nick Bosa enough. I think that the thing I'm trying to say, the bigger deal is more against Guyton. Here's the thing: if you have two guys getting pressure from both sides, isn't that better than just one guy getting pressure? I think that's
one would argue.
I think that's the concept they're using. Is the Cowboys are expecting Bosa maybe to go at Guyton more, so the Cowboys have a game plan to chip block him, to double him, to help out Guyton, to help the rookie. But if Bosa stays against Terrence Steele and Leonard Floyd's kind of the undercover guy who's going to exploit Guyton, we're going to have to start helping Guyton. And then it's going to leave Terrence Steele one-on-one with Bosa getting rammed. Bosa will take Terrence Steele. I think he will be able to consistently get pressure on Dak, while I think Floyd can definitely get pressure consistently on Dak against Guyton. Like we know Bosa can do it on either guy. But I think that Floyd will have a bigger issue on the opposite side, on his worst side, against Terrence Steele, who, he'll do all right, but definitely won't be as effective as a pass rushing tandem if Floyd is getting handled by Terrence Steele enough, but Bosa's dominating Guyton, and we can just chip block, and we're kind of expecting that. The other way around, it might be worse for the Cowboys because Leonard Floyd's going to be giving us a problem against Guyton, and Bosa is going to give us a problem against Terrence Steele. So I think the Niners, that's the way they're going to look at that.
Time out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Time out, if I may, because I like that, because I wanted you to lead into that, and I'm glad you did. You did that. That transition was beautiful. So my question is, you said what you said about his name. What was it?
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd.
Yeah. Well, you guys, do you know Leonard? Do you know where he's from? You know Leonard Floyd. He was with the Rams, but. The thing was, he had, I think, what was it? I'm looking right here. I'm looking at some stats on him, guys. Listen to this. Leonard Floyd right now currently has 5 sacks so far in 7 games, right? 6 games. It's tied for 7th in the league.
One for each. What the fuck?
The guy is consistently getting sacks and pressure. And
Productive.
so I'm just saying, I think Leonard Floyd is a little bit like an undercover kind of pass rusher. We're kind of like underestimating him. Guyton will have his hands full against Floyd, and I think that is the problem for Guyton this game. If he has issues against Leonard Floyd, Bosa is going to be bringing it from the other side, so it's going to come from both sides, and that's what I
was leading to.
Yeah.
You called me out, and that's what I want. You called me out right there with those stats. You called me out. That's literally one stat. Literally one stat. He's getting 1 sack a game, if not more.
Just about. I think the Niners played what? The Niners played 7 games, so he's got 5 sacks in 7 games. So about almost a sack a game. Yeah.
Equate that. You could pretty much equate that. Playing time and roster and all that. You could equate that he's getting 1 a game.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I agree. He don't play every snap. He gets rotation. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so MCW, MCF, stay with me here. If you put that man on one side versus Steele, and you keep in perspective the stat line that he just dropped on us all, and then we just talked about and we broke down how that, I asked him, I challenged MCF, do you really think that's enough for a vet Steele? And he gave me all that he gave me. Do you not think that Shanahan would not use Bosa and Floyd to exploit the weaknesses that they have seen Guyton portray over the last
100%. 100%. What they're gonna do is they're going to use Bosa. Let's say this. I'm just guessing here, but I can see them using Floyd 60 to 70% against Guyton, and the other 30 to 40% is gonna be Bosa. That's what I think, and they're gonna do that because they got to keep both guys because you got different kind of styles. So if you leave the same guy there the whole game, they're gonna get used to the style, and as the game goes on, the offensive lineman will get used to how to kind of slow him down.
Yeah.
If you switch it up at Bosa and throw in a little 30 or 40% on Bosa on Guyton, you're gonna fuck Guyton up. Both guys are gonna fuck him up. So that's I think the concept that the Niners are gonna try to use against our offensive line. I think Steele will do enough. Steele will be enough against Leonard Floyd, but he will not be enough against Bosa. And I think if he's not getting enough against Bosa, Guyton's going to have trouble against Floyd. They're going to have 2 guys rushing rather than just 1 guy with constant pressure. And that's going to be a key for them winning.
MCF, don't say because you did say we have to schematically throw in some chip blocks there. We have to. So that means old 6'5" Fergie, scary goal ass need to step in and set a block. That means Zeke,
I agree, but
3 yards going forward.
But what happens? What happens though when you have, you're planning to help Guyton, and all of a sudden because you think Bosa's going to go over there all the time, or you're thinking of maybe chip blocking and helping Terrence Steele even if Nick Bosa's coming on that side. How are you going to do that for both sides? That's going to be the issue.
I set myself up. I knew you were going to go there.
that's a tough one to me because
okay. I don't have a rebuttal or a retort for that. But can I ask, leading into kind of the topic that we're talking about, I don't like, and I don't want to take away from your guys' playbook what you had on your stream going on today. So I swear this is brief. I don't like the slander that I'm hearing about number 70. Because I feel like number 70 is our Hall of Famer on this line, and he's having to overcompensate for not only the rookies, but the struggling veterans on this line. So when he's also trying to, set his block, he's putting hands on somebody else. Do you guys
basically the last man standing
feel that way, or?
Yeah, no, go ahead, baby. I know you.
Yeah, no, it just the thing is that Father Time is going to catch up to all of us, right? So the fact that Zach Martin doesn't look like
that Father Time.
Lord. No, I just think that it's a variety of things. One, I don't think that our offensive line scheme is good at all. Like however you want to phrase it, the point is
I have something on that in a minute.
It is not working. Whatever we're trying to do. Not working. Two, Zach Martin, like you said, he's trying to pull not just his own weight. He's trying to pull the weight of all the other dumbasses. No offense to them, but everyone around him keeps messing
stop
up.
Apologizing. Thank you. No, please say that, because these players watch your streak. Please say that. Like, even though they're not technically dumbasses, but like please say that he's overcompensating for other players on the line.
Exactly.
That's
so,
what I feel.
And then, like I said, the cherry on top is, like, he's not playing at the same elite level. Now, the thing is, he's still playing at a really great high level. He's still, all that in a bag of chips. But is he the same as he was even 2-3 years ago?
Well,
no. He's a little more banged up. He has that knee issue that's kind of been following him the last year or two. His back was a little banged up. So, those little things will catch up.
Since you're the main leader on that, MCW, since you're the main leader on that focus right there, do you think that he's not only overcompensating for abysmal offensive line teammates, but he's also overcompensating for an injury that maybe we as fans on the outside, opposed to Dr. Jerry, may have any sort of knowledge of?
At first I would have said no if it wasn't for the last, the most recent report about his back, that basically all of a sudden it came from nowhere, right? Like, all of a sudden he's out, he's not feeling good, he might not play, whatever, because his back had a situation. That one is the one that made me go, because we knew about the knee, and we knew that was a potential issue. So...
I'm going to say this about Zach Martin, because I'm a little more positive of Zach Martin than the wife is. But the way I look at Zach Martin, yes, he is, of course, getting older, and he's, of course, he'll be slowed down. But I think that I do agree more with the fact that he has to listen. Who's on his left? It's a rookie, Cooper Beebe. He's gonna have to.
It's not Tyron Smith.
I'm just saying it's not. No, I'm saying on his left is Cooper Beebe.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's got Cooper Beebe. Tyler Smith's got to help as well, but. That's on the left side. On the right side, it's Zach Martin, who's got to overcompensate. Now, he got burned on a one-on-one in the last game against the Lions. He looked horrible on a play or two. Usually you don't even see that from Zach Martin. That's why it's shocking. But I don't think that has anything to do with anybody else. I think that's he just blew his block. But the thing is that, he does have to compensate for Terrence Steele, especially after last year and Terrence Steele not playing great. So... He's doing it on both sides. He's doing it on both sides. He's doing it on the right and left side of his body. He's got to overcompensate. So it's going to, of course, take away a little bit from him,
MCF, you taught me enough over the last 5 years I've watched your stream out of the 8 years you've been on here. And I'm going to tell you something. You told me to pay attention to film, watch the All 22 when it comes available, and I've been doing that as best to my ability.
That's awesome.
I watched Zach Martin. And that's why I brought up my comment is he's overcompensating. But not only that, let's take it up to New York and let's look at, do we remember his name? Can anybody? He's overcompensating for that abysmal line himself. Huh. But he's also given up sacks where he's also been that guy that looks over to his right and is looking at a Terrence or Tyler Smith, or who did we have? Who did we have? Okay. I like TJ Bass more than I like who we have now. But anyway, that's just me. But you get my drift. He was looking over. These guys are accustomed to having that familiar. I don't know the word. You know the word. You guys are going to steal it. The familiarity. The longevity and the trust of having that, I was in the military. So overseas, you just worry about the dude to your left. Fuck whatever happens to you, if you hear some shit, it wasn't meant for you. You know what I mean? So just keep on trucking. So it's like, he's right there. I told you we were going to steal the words that he's worried. Like, it's not that it's more of Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton. Like, I'm just going to be flat out. Like, I saw TJ Bass step in there, and he looked like a fucking dog. You guys remember who we wanted to draft? LPJ, I think it Powers something. I can't remember. Powers Jackson or whatever. He's really ranked low, and, minus his playing time, but he's ranked really low as of compared to Cooper Beebe. And you look at other stats when you scroll to the left on ESPN, like strength, agility, things like that. And it's like, okay, I know that MCF has taught us all viewers in the community that it takes a certain amount of years to develop a defensive lineman, but it also takes a certain amount of years to develop an offensive lineman. Dak came into the league and he was losing not Jason. He was losing, what is our tight end? Jason Witten. Excuse me. I was correct. He was losing Travis Frederick. How many offensive pieces did we go through before it became solidified for like a year or two? Numerous. That's a rhetorical question. But since 2018, this team has not had a defensive tackle that, could actually make a difference, and has not had a significant run game because they've had to go tandem with two different running backs or running back by committee. Do you see what I'm saying? So the offensive line it's not what the Dallas Cowboys have always known and been known to be.
And here's the cherry on top of all that, right? It isn't just the O-line. If it was just the O-line, which has all these things going on that we just talked about, I feel like we could manage it to a certain extent. But it's not just that, right? I kind of alluded to it a little bit, but the offensive line scheme is not doing us any favors, but our general offensive scheme is not doing us any favors. I know you had a little bit more that you wanted to touch on as far as like specific matchups with the Niners.
The thing is regarding this, the offensive line. I'm swinging this because I understand what you're saying, and I want to kind of move it to kind of the run game, because to me that's one of the biggest things we're missing. And I'm saying this for this game and the games.
Playbook. I just wanted to burst your bubble a little bit.
Yeah, listen, I hear you about the offensive line. I just think that the Cowboys, right, and this is going to take me to what kind of the wife is saying and what you're kind of saying. But when you look at our scheme, all right, our scheme on the ground, run blocking, our rush offense, we're averaging 77.2 yards per game. That is the worst in the NFL. That's number one, all right? That's going to hurt your offense. It's going to hurt your offensive line. I don't know if it was a chicken or the egg, but we're averaging 3.5 yards per carry on all our running backs combined. That is 32nd. That is the worst in the NFL.
God.
So,
oh, my God. MCF, can I just stop everybody right there with that stat that you just told me? That is how many men on the field that are getting paid as fuck what they get paid. Excuse my French. But that's how many playmakers on the field.
Yep.
And you're getting that average, a game.
Yeah. On the ground.
Wow, you did not have to drop that on me right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And hey, listen, here's a key I want to throw in there, because even though our core of running backs are doing horrible, Rico Dowdle is averaging 4.2 yards per carry, which is not horrible. It's average, a little over average, but it's good. It's not bad. That's all we need from him. But the thing is, we're running him 4 times a game. So this is a scheme issue as far as how often you run the ball behind an offensive line that, even though it has struggles in the past, is actually not as bad in the ground. Now, I do want to criticize the run blocking for the offensive line. Right now, this is the coaching portion of things. The zone. This we're going to hear from Solari. What's his name? The offensive line coach. This is going to be very key here. I want to know your thoughts kind of after we get through with this here, Seabass. But the zone scheme versus the power scheme in the run game. Okay, the players we have right now are on our offensive line: Terrence Steele, Zach Martin, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Smith. 4 out of the 5 guys. Reuse the zone scheme more. 4 out of the 5 guys are better for the power scheme. They're maulers. You use them, and Tyler Guyton could be there one day. So my point is that we're using the guys in a wrong run blocking scheme. We're using the zone blocking scheme.
I asked you the question, MCF. You're the maestro to this. You're the OG. You know what you're asking me, but you know what you're telling me. You know it. You know what you've been telling me for the last, I'll say that I've been a part of your community for the 8 years you guys been on this thing, but I've been subbed for the last 4 years. You know what you've been telling me. They don't play these players to their strength.
Exactly.
Don't act as if you don't tell me this and tell everybody in this community this.
This has been a continuous
you probably
thing.
Better GM, if not head coach, if not offensively coordinated.
It trickles down.
Most of these folks.
Exactly. It trickles down, and I've always said this. I was gonna say that was kind of my thing. You beat me to it because that's one of those things where it's not even about okay. Well, what's the specifics of the zone scheme we're messing up on compared to the power scheme? Who gives a shit? That's not the point.
Nobody
the point is not. The point is not. Yeah, the point is not for me. That's up to the coaches to figure out the details of the power scheme and the zone scheme. I don't give a fuck. To me, it's the fact that we don't use our players right from top to bottom. It's never been the case. We always use them incorrectly and to their weaknesses rather than their strengths. And so that is one of the issues that I see from this. You can say the offensive line.
Yeah.
You just talked about it. I'm using it in the run game. In the run game, we are using these guys in a zone scheme when we should be using them more in a power scheme, which is to their strengths. Overall, like 4 out of the 5 fucking guys. That would help our run game.
Back off that?
That would help our run game. And by the way, Rico Dowdle, against the Niners specifically, I want to throw this in there. Mm-hmm. Running the ball is one thing. You might see Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook's a major part of maybe what's going to happen against the Niners, but
we can only hope.
Rico Dowdle could be a pass catching factor, a receiving factor against the Niners. He ranks 3rd right now among all running backs in targeting and getting targeted for receptions among running backs. He's 3rd. The Niners defense has faced a very high rate of running back targets, the 8th highest in the NFL as running backs targets allowing targeted running backs. So they're not good at stopping running backs out of the backfield. We should use Rico Dowdle, even Dalvin Cook, even Zeke if he's out there, out of the backfield. So it's about scheme.
You can even get cute the way we sometimes use CeeDee Lamb and Turpin and stuff like that. I'm just trying to say that,
use those guys at the backfield.
This is one of those ways
can we just stop this? Can we just change MCW and MCF first name to coach? Because y'all
I wish.
No, stop. Look, I'm being facetious, but y'all giving us the formula before you tell us our problems and our mistakes, but we already see it. Look, if we know that we have to change the schematics for the upcoming activation of Dalvin Cook, and maybe McCarthy is being true in what he's saying, that they've made some tweaks. Who knows if it's pertaining? Who knows if it's not? But even furthermore, what you're saying, can we just say, Mike McCarthy, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
I think he knows. I think he knows he's fired.
We can run the. We can. I'll digress after this. We can run the team from a YouTube channel because it's seemingly. I want to give some love to your guys' members in the chat because I get nothing but love from Burn Bar. Scorpio and James motherfucking Luna, who paid for my shit the last time. Excuse my French. James Luna's a real one.
Yeah, there's some great people in there.
Kudos and credence to what they're saying
Indian
because
Boogie.
They're saying the exact thing that I'm saying.
Yeah,
the exact thing that I'm not gonna call him MCF. I'm gonna call him Coach MCF saying that. Coach MCF over here is saying the same shit. If you have seen a formula that has not worked for you, and you are failing this mathematical test, why have you not adjusted your method of finding out the solution to said formula? I know that's a word salad, but folks,
no, I worry though.
Obstacle in front of you, you go over it, you go through it, you go behind it, you go underneath.
But Seabass, if every year for 28 years under different coaches, different players, different eras, why are we still like this? To me, it goes back to where the top. It goes back to Jerry Jones, the GM. That's again not that everything goes back to him and blames him like directly, but indirectly, foundationally. I think that's an issue we have.
Yeah, like your house might have a hole in the roof. That doesn't dismiss the fact that it has a shitty foundation. That's it. We have other problems on this team. We all know them. It does not take away from the fact that, like you said, foundationally speaking, Jerry is the problem. But
I think he does. He gets involved too much. He gets involved with his idea. He gets involved and changes. He gets involved and changes game plans, changes coaching game plans. We know he's involved with Garrett. We know he's involved with McCarthy and all their game planning for games and how they use players. The Joneses are involved.
Shout out to NDN Boogie, by the way, dropping his membership message, 21 months. He said our O-line is too soft. Build that wall. Fam for life.
Much love to you. And
yeah, I think that's the wall we can all support building.
Yes, we can support that. The great line of the Dallas Cowboys. Big shout out to Indian Boogie, member for 21 months in the Navy Blue crew. Shout outs to him.
Hey, Coach MCW, Coach MCF, can y'all hit up the chat? Because they spitting some knowledge at me. This is where I'm getting my stuff from. Like, they're giving me some point. Can y'all... Like,
hit him up, baby.
You know, yeah, like he giving me some point. I'm stealing all my stuff from my boy Scorpion right now.
Yeah, earlier Scorpio actually mentioned when we were talking a little more about the O-line stuff, he said that TJ Bass is a beast. He needs more snaps, so he's actually playing at an elite level. Now, I don't know if I would say necessarily elite, but he's definitely playing better than expected. It's like one of the few positives. We can actually see the growth and the progression there.
The one thing I always want to say about TJ Bass, even though I like him and I agree, you know, when he makes a mistake, I can't get that mad at him because Jerry Jones grabs everybody from the undrafted pile. So it's like you get undrafted, you're gonna have these guys. They're gonna take longer to get to that level, and some of them might never get to that level. But Jones is gonna make it sound like these are the best guys ever. You know, that's the thing we have to be careful. But I like DJ Bass. I just think that I don't know when does he stop progressing and developing? Like, is it earlier than a regular guy who's drafted with a much higher upside? I don't know. But like Terrence Steele is an example of an undrafted guy who maybe he's just getting paid what he's getting paid, but is he really worth that? You know, I don't know. It's a lot of questions about some of these guys and the way the Cowboys manage the expectations of undrafted players, which I love some of these guys. I mean, Will McClay, big shout out. Chris Hall, big shout out.
Actually, I'm going to have to interrupt you because it's not just the undrafted players that we have to manage the expectations for. Because sometimes you bring in veterans, and then you have to manage your expectations there because there's one particular veteran we've been waiting literally 8 weeks to see, and now we might finally be seeing him tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to say that the running back room coming out of the bye, the one thing, and again, this is out of the bye week, but this is for this week and the season. The running back room has to get a spark, and I think the spark, his name is. The only change we have right now is Dalvin Cook. Well, again, one of the least impactful positions on the Cowboys roster is running back. We're dead last in pretty much everything, guys. Rico Dowdle is the leader of our team running the ball, 246 yards on 59 carries. Dalvin Cook, again, like we know he's going to be playing this week. We don't know how much or not, but I don't think it can get any worse. So I'll even say this. I give Rico Dowdle some credit. I like him out of all our running backs the best, but I'm going to be honest with you. Watch the film on this. The film shows that Rico Dowdle, even though he's looking good at sometimes, he's repeatedly failing to recognize running lanes. He needs to have better vision. And the problem is that, he's a little more of a veteran right now. Yeah,
it's funny because usually Zeke has better vision but less ability.
Yeah, that's the thing. A guy who's a rookie or second year or whatever may have some vision issues. He's already a veteran. You would expect that from an inexperienced runner. He should be much more experienced ahead of this. To me, Dalvin Cook is a veteran who comes in handy to spark the running attack with his ability that he has when it comes to vision. I don't know. I mean,
can I pick your brain on that?
Yeah, go ahead. Hit me. Yeah, go ahead.
So based off of that last part you just said there for Dalvin Cook, out of our entire offensive line, let's go down the line for each of our players on this line. Who do you think is better suited for the outside run, which is better suited for Dalvin Cook?
Oh, no. For the outside, like the C-gap run on the outside, I think Rico is the one. To me. He's the guy.
You don't have that problem with the lanes that we just talked about.
But on, even though they may be abysmal, but on the offensive line, current roster, current starters, for Rico and or Dalvin, for outside runs, who do you think is better? Who do you think is worse?
Well, when you talk about that, you talk about our offensive line?
Yeah, total offensive line. I mean, to run right, left.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you got Terrence Steele is the better. That's the better side. Is the right side when it comes to Guyton as the left tackle.
I didn't think you would agree with me. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the left tackle, that's the big downgrade. But Tyler Smith, I think he's right up there with Zach Martin, if not even maybe better. At this point of their careers.
You know what's funny? I'm actually going to say that the weakest link is running it up the middle.
No.
Yeah.
I can't see that.
That's just me. Remember, we just talked about it earlier. Poor Zach Martin out there on his own little lonely island. Trying to help on the right side, help in the middle, help over here. Like, I think that between the inexperience of Cooper Beebe, the situation we have on the entire left side, moving our left guard to left tackle or the left tackle to here with Seabass, like, it leaves TJ Bass. I know, Seabass. TJ Bass. Hey, Seabass. I don't know. Maybe you have a different job. But no.
Burn Bar, you might be right. MCF just said it. MCW just said it. You might be right, Burn Bar.
So yeah. So for me, I just think that it leaves you very vulnerable in the middle, just because, like I said, you have Zach Martin being pulled in multiple directions and a general weakness on the left side into the middle, which plus. I have yet to see a very successful run up the middle. Pretty much all season so far.
Well, here's the thing about up the middle runs. I think we're using the wrong guys up the middle.
And there you go.
Like I think we can run up the middle. We just maybe Dalvin Cook and Zeke can run up the middle. I mean, I don't know. Zeke is very predictable up the middle. I think he's just a step slow. But I think to me,
Who, my coach? Who do we use?
I mean, again, on the outside, I mean, Guyton's not bad as far as speed is concerned and any quickness, but to me, the side I'd rather run to the side where you have Zach Martin and Terrence Steele. That's my choice. The thing running to the left.
I want to pick your brain. If you ran it up the middle, like you said, who you putting up the middle, coach? You putting Deuce? You putting Dalvin?
Oh, hell no. Deuce is inactive. Deuce is inactive. Well, I don't see Deuce playing this game.
But we're speaking hypothetical.
Yeah, if I'm going up the middle, like if I'm going to A or B gap, I mean, I'd probably want to see Dalvin Cook. And, you can still use him to the outside, but that's where you can see Rico do well on the outside. I think Rico can do good on the inside too. I just think the Cowboys get predictable with Zeke running the ball. So, when it comes to the Cowboys, see, here's the thing with the Cowboys, and I know that the wife has a bunch of the quotes, but I think that it's interesting to see the way the Cowboys are looking at their run game coming out of the bye. And this is going to be the last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to the offense, and we're going to go to the defense. But these are very important, I think, quotes coming from the Cowboy coaching staff about the way they're going to do this. So you're looking at Jeff Blasco. You know who he is. He's the running back coach and the run game coordinator. He said this, quote, "This time of year, you're not going to reinvent the wheel. You kind of know who you are from a schematic standpoint. But we have to do a better job of making sure that everybody's on the same page." A lot of double talk there, but to me, it tells me schematically, we're not on the same page with these players, these running backs, and the offensive line with the coaches. Whatever it is, basically, he said, quote, "There's nobody ducking for cover. There's nobody ducking for cover. We got to do a better job of just fine-tuning the details and bringing the things to life." So we're not changing the scheme. We're not changing schemes. We're not doing this. We're not reinventing the wheel. We just got to, it's details, they're saying. Here's what Jerry Jones said as well. We've talked about what he said already. So, again, they asked him, does this give you confidence that the running game can get fixed? And he said, "I have a lot of faith in the men in the locker room and a lot of faith in the coaching staff. We can't fly off the reservation and think we're going to change the whole offense. We have to dive into concepts that we feel good about, and we have to bring them to life. We have to do a better job with the attention to detail." So we're seeing these concepts that are not working right now in the run game, and we're seeing the attention to detail lacking. This is right now the issue with the running game, according to the coaches, to the running game coordinator and the running backs coach. Now, offensive line coach. We talked about the offensive line. Offensive line coach Mike Soliari. All right, I'm not too sold on him. All right, he said that the Cowboys' bread and butter, the Cowboy bread and butter runs are a variation of the inside zone, their wide zone, and then getting the ball on the perimeter, which I think we need to do more. What did he say about all this, baby?
He said, "There's no doubt we will get the running game going. It's a young group. It's going to be ascending. I really believe we'll get better each week. It's just a matter of us getting those efficient runs, plus 4-yard runs, and then, in certain situations, moving the chains. That's the most important thing. It's the consistency of the technique and the fundamentals. I really believe you'll see an improvement in the O-line as we keep gaining experience. We have some young men up there, no excuses. We have to get the job done, but it'll take some time. The challenging thing is there's variation. Obviously, each week defensive fronts change. There's line movement. We'll ascend as we get more experience.
Yeah. So to me, this is why you throw in there Dalvin Cook, give him an opportunity. Like Zeke, you give him an opportunity, right? Dalvin Cook is a former 1,000-yard running back. He's only 29 years old. And again, both Zeke and Cook, their best years are in the past. No one's saying that they're going to be fantastic, but to me, Cooks is the spark that could help them. And again, the issue is, who do you leave off? To me, if Dalvin Cook plays, Zeke might be inactive for this game. Don't be surprised because he doesn't play special.
That was my question right there.
Yeah, he doesn't play special
Literally.
teams, Zeke. So, yeah, and you know.
Okay, so do they take, because I know they're paying Zeke, so do they not put Zeke on inactive? Because I know he's not injured either. So
he might be inactive. He might be.
Yeah, they just make him inactive for that game.
Yeah, I mean, it might be him. It might be Rico.
Oh,
it might
damn,
be.
I really don't understand.
It might be Deuce Vaughn. I don't know who's gonna make it active, but if Dalvin Cook is out there, do they have Dalvin and Zeke out there with Rico and Hunter Lipke, and they put Deuce Vaughn as an inactive, or do they?
I pray.
Yeah, if they can replace that special teams contribution from a different position on the team,
it might be.
Then Deuce Vaughn maybe takes a seat just because maybe Zeke is more wanted and needed.
Yeah, I mean. You know, and when you look at the running back situation...
Thank you for breaking that down. I didn't understand that. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good possibility. I mean, we could go with a linebacker. We could go with another linebacker other than the running back, right? So that could be a way we can still keep Zeke and Dalvin Cook together. But according to Brian Schottenheimer, who is really the concept guy when it comes to the offense and really the running game side of things, Schottenheimer said this about Dalvin Cook, quote, "He's doing better. He's getting more and more comfortable terminology-wise. He's getting more reps. Now it's just trying to find a way on how he fits in the puzzle." And that's not just an offensive question. That's a defensive special teams question. He's doing a really good job of the things that we're asking him to do. If the puzzle fits correctly, he'll be ready when called upon. Obviously, we found it against Pittsburgh. This is what Schottenheimer said. We got to get in the flow late in the game and do what we're able to do. And he's talking about running the ball. When we're able to play that type of scheme and that type of game, we're able to sustain drives. The two Pittsburgh drives late, one was 15 plays, one was 16. It was probably our best example of complementary football all year. When you're behind the 8 ball and you're playing from behind, you're having to throw it so much, it's hard. We know we can run the football. We need the opportunities to do it. We need to do better. We need to be better. We're studying the hell of it right now, trying to figure it out. But what are our best run styles right now? Our best concepts that we like. Is it inside? Is it outside? What are the play types we like?
It is week 8.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Sorry, the more you talk...
Yeah, he said that will give us... He goes, then we'll have some answers, which I think will help us feel good about going into this week's prep for San Francisco.
Yes,
so again,
because that's what I care about when it comes to this. The good feeling.
Yeah, they are right now. It just seems like they're still trying to. They're trying to figure. It's all about getting on the same page, and they're just not on the same page in the run game, and we need to get this fixed for this game and beyond. Yeah, we need to get it fixed for this game and beyond.
That should have been corrected week 3. Like what more? It's the National freaking Football League. Yeah. This isn't the USFL or the XFL or the Canadian or the Chinese. Like, this is the national. Like, if you know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, MCF.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
I hear you. I hear the frustration.
It is surprising. Real. It's surprising to hear that this team has much still to figure out at this point in the season.
I guess they have time on their hands. I'm sorry.
Look, when you look at the run side of things, I also look at the defensive run stop, which is maybe the biggest issue we have in this team.
It is, sir. It is.
This is gonna,
it is.
The one thing the Niners love to do is they love to run the goddamn ball. We have problems stopping Shanahan's defense. So, I'm sorry, Shanahan's offensive scheme. So, our rush defense, stopping the run. The Cowboys, we allow 4.5 yards per carry on defense. That's tied for 15th. We're basically just we're average at yards per carry. And we've allowed 10 rushing touchdowns. We are 31st in the league.
Ouch.
Yeah. We are second worst. We allow the second most touchdowns on the ground. So to me, one of the matchups I'm looking at, the Cowboys' run defense, which is very shaky, versus their running back, Jordan Mason. And he's a little banged up at the shoulder, but the Cowboys' run defense has been suspect at best this year.
Dangerous.
And again, we're worse at home than away on the run, stopping the run. I don't know why, but at AT&T Stadium, we got embarrassed on the ground by the Saints, the Ravens, and the Lions. But on the road, we played better. And this is the first of a back-to-back thing here. We're in San Francisco. Next week, we're at Atlanta. So maybe, the Cowboys will focus a little bit more on the road against the running backs. The concern to me is running back Jordan Mason when he's healthy, and he's going to be banged up. He is dangerous. He's currently second in the NFL with most rushing yards in the league. He's number 2. He has 667 rushing yards. So you cannot fall asleep because his name is not McCaffrey. You can't fall asleep on Jordan Mason. Yeah. They're running back. The Niners, they have a banged up wide receiving core. Even with Deebo Samuel, who'll probably play, he ain't gonna be 100%. And they don't have Ayuk. He's out for the year. They don't have Jawan Jennings. He's the replacement. He's out. They're down to their 4th stringers, 5th stringers.
Wait, Jawan Jennings as well?
He is out for this game.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so they're missing.
Out like ruled
he is
out.
out. He's ruled out. He is out. Ayuk is questionable. If he don't play, they don't have anybody. They're missing the top 3 guys.
He's getting picked off. Oh yeah. I love that.
Yeah, we're both banged up.
I don't like injuries for anyone.
Yeah, but here's the key though. We gotta read into this. That means they're gonna rely much more on Jordan Mason, the running back, than on throwing the ball to their receivers and Purdy. And they love to run on us. Why not? I would run all over us if I was any other team, because we can't stop the run.
You would.
And when you look at stopping the run is going to be major. I don't know how we're going to do it if we don't have Eric Kendricks, who's one of.
Coach.
What do you think? What do you think?
If you could, no, don't say I don't know how, but if you could, with what we have available, with what we have coming up for game time, with what every knowledge you're sharing with us, Coach, how would you do it? Who would you put up to stop Mason, knowing that they're going to put Mason up on us? What would you do? We just got trouble. Jordan Phillips. We had the news on Jordan Phillips.
He's out, though. He's out for this game.
Yeah, right. But you got all the news. You got the updates. You got, Kendrick. What would you do? Tell me what's the game plan?
Kendrick's can line up our guys in the right spot. That'd be our best bet. If he's in the game, there's a chance we can stop the run. But I think that when he's out of the game, if he's not in the game playing, we'll have trouble stopping the run. In my opinion, was he in that Pittsburgh game? Or did he get hurt?
He was not.
Yes, he was.
I think he got hurt really early in the game.
In that game,
the first quarter.
Yeah. So
I'm going to say something kind of random, but because of the lack of personnel on our team. The first thing that came to mind when you said that, Mr. Seabass, was using Overshown in a very creative way. Because basically you leave everything else stays as is. You know what I mean? You don't move anyone, you don't touch anyone, but you basically give Overshown the job of about 50% of the time. Your job is to watch the running back. That's it. That's your job. Like you stay on him like white on rice.
He's a young cat.
And not just that, but to me, the only positive that we still have defensively is we have a few guys that are pretty fast.
Yes,
so
speed.
If we use Overshown speed to, at a minimum, be disruptive. It might give the rest of the guys an extra second to maybe catch up and attempt to stop the run before it turns into a 4, 5, 6 yard game.
Constructively, are you keeping Donovan Wilson and Hooker out there after what you've seen? Or if we lose Kendricks, are you gonna?
You have to. We don't. That's my.
Kendrick?
We don't have a choice. That's my whole point.
Well,
we are very limited in what we can put out there.
I'm gonna say this.
On a good day.
You've seen with our limitations what head coach Jerry Jones, is going to put out there.
Yeah, it's a great segue because. Your question, and baby, you answer that great. I really like what you're saying. But think about this. A couple things I want to remind you guys about what we saw when we stopped the run. So, a lot of that was what the safeties were doing, crashing in on the outside. When these teams would, like the Steelers.
Like I said, I feel like making the most of our speed.
Well, the Steelers would try to run to the outside. And in the games before that, when we got run all over by the Ravens and
There's actually a lot
the
of
Saints,
outside runs, if I recall.
there were a lot of outside runs. But that's the Detroit Lions kicked our ass. But I'm saying like the Pittsburgh Steelers, when they ran to the outside, you saw our guys and the Giants. Our safeties were crashing all the way to the outside. They were crashing down and forcing the running backs back into the teeth of the defense. And again, if you run inside on us, that's where you hope you have Kendricks. If you don't, you're gonna have to. I hope Linville Joseph can do the job. I know Mozzie Smith's looking Mozzie Smith is horrible out there right now, guys. I'm sorry to say it. And Oso Odigizua not doing a great job consistently with the run. So to me, we don't have these guys holding up the run lanes, and then these young linebackers are missing the interior. That could be an issue. But if they run outside, I think Zimmer has an idea on how to crash back and make these guys, running backs, Jordan Mason, have to run back into the teeth of the defense. And I do think that when you mention linebacker, it's interesting because do you make a safety switch or maybe even add another guy? This could be something we can do maybe after this game or maybe down the line. I don't know about this game, but for the coming out of the bye week, the Cowboy, when we were doing things with Dan Quinn, the safety the whole unit received a makeover, right? Now we have guys like we got Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker starting, but we still have Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas who are good run stoppers.
Thank you.
So my thing, and I have this in my notes for you. You started you're the one who answered it before I even asked it. But to me, Wanye Thomas and Marquise Bell, they have only received. Wanye Thomas has received 27 snaps on defense.
Yeah.
That's it. Marquise Bell has received 23 snaps. 23 snaps on defense. That's it for Marquise Bell.
We line these guys up in the playoffs to fight against the.
To me,
with so many injuries too,
Coach
like
MCW, Coach MCF, please explain to me why these guys aren't even playing.
I cannot tell you why they're not doing it.
But
I'm telling you,
paying them either. Coach.
When you're needing them, when you need these guys, these are the guys that Wanye Thomas and Bell are the run stopping type safeties you need in there.
Maybe they're losing to some political machinations. Like we always hear. I'm just saying, we always hear how sometimes our team makes decisions based on not actual who's playing the best, but, we like this guy, or we want this guy out there because we're paying him. Like, you kind of questioned it about Zeke. Like, we're paying him. Why wouldn't we have him active? So, maybe it's more politics than
the thing for me is Wilson and Hooker, they're solid. And to me, they've been good overall in their careers with us in coverage. In coverage.
Nope. I'm challenging that. I'm challenging that.
But hold on. Let me say
words with what I say to you.
But hold on. Hold on, Seabass. Let me finish my sentence.
Copy that.
I'm saying for the last couple of years in the Dan Quinn scheme, they were doing. I think they were in good. You look at the coverage. There was nobody beating these guys. Yeah. But in the Zimmer defense this year, I have a problem with both guys. They've been caught out of position. Probably more times than they ever have been in their careers with the Cowboys. Both of them.
Okay.
So hard not to blame the scheme there.
So to me, let me just finish one thing. To me, it's the scheme. Sorry. To me, it's the scheme. And to me, even though I also don't think that they're the best at stopping the run, at run support. So to me, in this situation, I don't think Wilson and Don Wilson and Hooker are the best at run support. So to me, I want to see Wanye Thomas and Marquise Bell involved in more of the first down plays, in those run support plays. We need the safeties to be more physical. Because, I'm sorry, Donovan Wilson missing too many tackles. Hooker missing too many tackles. They're out of position in coverage this year. They're not handling Zimmer's scheme that great.
Why is he so
far back? That's Zimmer's scheme, and I think that Wanye Thomas, I think Marquise Bell will be better in Zimmer's scheme to stop the run. Anyways, I'll let you speak now. You speak now.
Coach, do you think that if they put in your replacements that we all want, Bell and Wanye, do you think that he's going to be lined up where Hooker and Wilson is lined up, way the fuck back where the goddamn strong safety should be?
I would hope not, but with Zimmer's scheme, it depends on what he thinks their strengths are, I guess.
So you're agreeing with me?
I agree with you. Yeah, I think we should run. I don't know if Wilson. or Hooker are even going to be worthwhile putting them close to the line of scrimmage. I know Wilson's decent at run stop, but not
Coach,
Malik
answer
Hooker.
Me this one question: Are Donovan Hooker and is Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson thumpers? Yes or no?
Wilson is a thumper. Wilson's a thumper.
Come on.
Wilson, the problem with Wilson. The problem with Wilson, he doesn't wrap his arms. So he hits you and then goes to the ground.
Yeah, he hits hard. Again, he's got the speed.
He's all about the one hit.
Exactly. And that's my issue with Wilson. He hits you, but he don't wrap up. Like I know that Malik Hooker is not a great thumper. He's all right in run support, but he's not. He gets angles. He's not really the guy that's going to make the hit.
I like that about him. And I'm sorry, MCW. I'm sorry.
Oh no, all good. I was just kind of chiming in my.
No, but I think Wanya Thomas and Bell are Wanya Thomas maybe a little bit better in coverage. I think Wanya Bell's a little better in run support. And that's all I'm trying to say. Let's use these guys in the proper ways of their strengths. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. With that one.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, I think it's time for safety changes. If not this week, soon. I see some of you guys in the chat agreeing with Seabass.
Coach MCW, you guys still haven't given me your starting platform. I want both of you to, contribute to this. Tell me, if you're playing the 49ers, knowing what they're going to come at you with, who are you putting up? Who is my starting 11? Tell me on defense. I don't give a damn what you're doing on offense because I've already seen that.
Well, it's hard because you got a rotational situation, right? But against the Niners, down in distance situations, right? I'm gonna use more Wanya Thomas and Marquise Bell. That's kind of part of my scheme thoughts here. I'm gonna use them a little bit more because I know they're gonna run the ball 50 times in this fucking game. I know it. They're gonna use 13 personnel. They're gonna use 3 tight ends, and they're gonna run all over us in a very small linebacking situation. We need to have bigger safeties to help with the run support, and we have enough guys there.
Where'd they learn that 3 tight end personnel perfection from? Where'd they learn that from?
Shit, they've been doing that for a while.
Kellen Moore, 12-5-3 in a year. Like, come on. They you saw all the bullshit. He refused to run the ball. Where'd they learn that from?
Kellen Moore.
They learned that from Kellen Moore. And what did Mike McCarthy do? He said, you know what, I want to run the ball, but I don't really want to run the ball. But you still fired Kellen Moore.
Well, he didn't. Jerry Jones did, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think it goes into, and I remember I said this about Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has a quarterback mindset. He thinks like a quarterback. He wants to throw the ball first and foremost, where older coaches, like, for example, just Jason Garrett, the whole Linehan offense and things like that, they're old school. And Dallas is an old school football team. We run the ball here in Big D. So that was still during we almost refused to pass properly because we're focusing too much on the run. We invested too much in the run. Now it feels like it's gone way too much in the other direction, where not only, have we basically said F the run game, we also told our quarterback, by the way, turn into a statue. So, yay.
Yeah, I know.
Coach, why would you have let go of Pollard and if you're Jerry Jones, if you're the GM, if you're Mike McCarthy, if you're Shoddy, both Coach MCF, Coach MCW, why would you have let go of Pollard? Why would you have brought in Zeke after his production that you saw before you departed with Mans, and then he went to New England and you saw what he did over there, and then you saw what Rico Dalla gave you last year, and you saw what Deuce Vaughn gave you the year prior? Why would you have departed with Pollard? Compound question, 1. And why would you have not forfeited and solidified that position?
I mean, to me, it's the Joneses don't want to pay the money for Pollard, and if you're going to pay for Pollard, you might as well pay for Derrick Henry. They didn't want either.
Yeah, I think that part of it is the blowback. The year that we paid
Pollard more.
Yeah, that's it right there, Seabass. Because we paid Pollard more money, and we paid remember, that year we spent the most out of any other NFL team on the running back position. What did we get from it? Jack shit. Let's be real. So, the Cowboys saw that, Jerry saw that, and said, oh, well, I guess I'll be a modern NFL man now and pay $5 for my running back. Except other teams, when they pay $5 for their running back, they're still getting solid contributing running backs. Our decision was
fucking point. Who did the Chiefs? Valid fucking point, Coach MCW. Who did the Chiefs just pick up? Who was on the bench watching TV? What's his name? what's that guy's name? Fuck, I forgot his name. You're on. I'm sorry.
I forgot his name too. I almost said Dalvin Cook again.
He's running. He's getting a little. He's not. I wouldn't say he's better than Rico Dowdle, but he's getting a little bit more than Rico Dowdle right now. But they're 6-0, and they're still buying folks like DeAndre Hopkins. Not to take it away from what you're saying. I think his name
Kareem Hunt. Is that you're talking about? Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah. Don't you see that?
Kareem Hunt's been. He was out there. He was Kareem Hunt. I've been talking about Kareem Hunt coming to the Cowboys for months. About hey, he's a guy that's a veteran. You bring him, and they brought in Zeke.
He's out of our price range.
Yeah. MCW just hit that. Coach MCW just hit that on the note. Like they're still acquiring talent even though they're winning. They're still getting guys even though they're getting more than an average of what Rico gives.
The Chiefs aren't winning just because they have Patrick Mahomes or just because they have Reed. It is all of those things.
Say that shit louder for the peanut gallery. Yeah. Say that again, MCW.
Again, the Chiefs are not winning only because they have Patrick Mahomes or because they have Reed.
Yeah, listen. It's coaching. It's coaching. It's front office. It's planning. It's all these things of why they. And when they get an injury, what do? They don't go on their undrafted receiver. They go and grab a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins. So they're just better managing their team.
Repeat that again.
It's simple.
Fans can hear you.
Who went down? Who went down for them? Who just went down for them?
Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice went down. So what do? They don't go and say, let's get our undrafted scrub out there to see what he can do because he's our guy. They go and get DeAndre Hopkins for a pretty good deal.
What pick was Isaiah Worthy, folks, if you guys could tell me?
What?
What pick was Isaiah Worthy?
I do not know that. I do not know, but that's another steal there at tight end. I'm sorry, wait, Isaiah Worthy, receiver. I'm sorry. It was a first rounder, right?
Right.
Pretty
He's
sure.
He's a first rounder.
From what?
And what is his weight? No, I'm making it. What is his weight? What is his height?
He's tiny. Weight is like 160.
Okay. Do we have somebody like a Mighty Mouse over here like that?
Yep. Kavonte Turpin.
What is his name? What is his name, Coach?
Turpin.
Okay, Coach. Do we have another guy who's
Deuce
on receiving and on offense who could do something like that?
Don't we have Deuce Vaughn?
Don't we have Deuce Vaughn? Look, this is exactly why McDonald's, Michelin Man, eating motherfucking Mike McCarthy needs to get out the way. This is exactly why we need to have somebody who's young-minded like Coach MCF, because if he could recognize that there are people using Worthy and somebody who's a lesser talent, like the name you just mentioned, in ways that we could use Turpin and Deuce Vaughn, why haven't we done this?
Front office, the Joneses, the Clown Show. That's as simple as I can say.
I wish we had a better answer than our front office doesn't want to, because it would make me feel better.
That's the perfect answer. No,
that's the only answer.
Because everybody watches this show and they get to see that we get to ridicule them, the players, the front office, the staff, the personnel. We're ridiculing you. I know there's players watching this right now and they don't like what we're saying. We're calling them salt. We're calling their players and their front organization abysmal. They're delusion. I will say that to the day that they actually do something like Coach MCF said, like Coach MCW said. Do something. Use Turpin. Use Deuce Vaughn. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Micah Parsons.
1,000%.
You just made your point, MCF. What is Dan Quinn doing with a whole brand new team and a whole brand new quarterback?
He's asking for the guys he wants, and the Washington Commanders are getting them, and he's getting the right guys and the right fit for his scheme. That's what a good coach does.
Coach, why couldn't Coach, if I may, and I'll digress after this, why couldn't we get Wagner? Compound question. Where is Wagner today?
Right, he's at Washington because they work with him. You know who don't work with the coaches? The Clown Show here in Dallas. That's the problem. So you're 100% right. You know, when I look at the defense, and I'm kind of closing down the defense here for a minute, but I want to throw out a couple of quick stats and figures. So we talked about the safeties, replacing them, not replace them fully, but I think more down in distance and using those guys, Wanye, Thomas, and Bell, as more snaps in games. But when you look at the pass rush, without Micah and the ups and downs we had this year, our defense, we have 14 sacks with our pass rush. Now, quarterback pressure, we're pressuring the quarterbacks 36% of the time. and we're blitzing 31.3% of the time. When you
That's pretty high.
That's very high for us. Yeah, very high. We're blitzing a lot more than we usually have in the past. But when you look at the pass defense, right now we're allowing the quarterback passing rate 97.1, which is 23rd in the NFL. Not bad for the Cowboys. I'm saying, well, not good. I'm saying we're like below average.
Coach, you're mistaken.
I went the wrong way there. Yeah, I'm saying,
Coach, just cut the stream off. We're abysmal.
Yeah, we are horrible. We are allowing quarterbacks to get basically 100 quarterback passing rate there. I'm just saying it's not good. When you're looking at the yards per attempt, 7.9, basically 8 yards per attempt by offenses against our defense. That ranks us 26th in the NFL. George Kittle, who is
better than what I expected. Wow.
Yeah, George Kittle, who imagine allowing almost 8 yards every play. You can't. I mean, on defense, you just can't stop anyone. When you look at the at George Kittle, one of the major weapons they have left, and he's banged up in this game with a foot issue.
Right.
Last week, week 7, he had 7 targets. Out of those 7, he had 6 catches and 92 yards. Obviously, he's a weapon that they can use, but I don't know how 100% he's going to be. You always got to watch Kittle. But to me, one of the matchups to watch because of their injuries is the cornerbacks, our cornerbacks versus their wide receivers. This is one of the matchups where both sides are banged the fuck up, and it could sway the game in the Cowboys' favor because their major guys are kind of banged up and out. So again, unfortunately, we don't have DaRon Bland, which is a killer for us, right? So
come on.
If
he practiced.
No. This entire week he did not practice. Yeah. So
what?
So we don't get a full. We don't get. It would have been the first time all year we had our starting cornerbacks in our secondary. We're not going to get that this week. So that kind of evens things out a little bit more. They don't have Brandon Ayuk, season-ending knee injury. Deebo Samuel he's not going to be 100% coming off of pneumonia and has an injury. And like I said, guys, Jawan Jennings is out with a hip injury. So that means they got their best guy is a sick Deebo Samuel, and their 4th, 5th, and 6th string receivers. That's all they got. I will say one name here to keep an eye on.
Damn.
One name to keep an eye on in this game. Jacob Cowing. I know, who the fuck is that? But he's going to be one of their top receivers options. He only had 3 targets. He only had 3 targets.
Who that is?
I don't know who he is. He has 3 targets last week for 2 catches, 50 yards.
How many yards?
That's it.
That's a lot. That's
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. He's gonna try to use him for some play action stuff because they're gonna run the ball. They're not gonna throw that much. They're gonna use Deebo. Sometimes he's not gonna play a full game, in my opinion. He'll probably be on a snap count. But my thing is that with a lack of receivers for them, with Kittle being banged up if he even plays, you know what I'm saying, their only real dominating factor is going to be running the ball. So with a lot of weaknesses at receiver for them, the Cowboys should be okay as far as coverage, even though we're banged up. They don't have many weapons at receiver. The only thing that kills us is play action.
Yeah. If
we let them run the ball on us, play action will kill us. So that is one of the keys to me of this game for us to win this game, Seabass. We're wrapping it up here a little bit,
Coach.
But I want to know what. Go ahead.
Because you said Brock Purdy. You didn't say these words verbatim, but I'm gonna essentially put it in words. Brock, systematic QB Purdy under Shanahan's offense is gonna run more play action than the best play action quarterback in the NFL. I don't know about that one.
Well, it's more about setting up the run, though. See, it's about setting up the run.
Give me the benefit of the doubt. Let me entice you, because I heard you. Let me entice you. If he's to do what you're saying, what he does, but he doesn't have the players that you're saying that he's not going to have. But given the fact that we don't have Bland, and I actually thought we were going to get Bland back, what do you think the overall prospect of how that would come across? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
As far as what? As far as Bland returning, or
I don't believe in Brock if he doesn't have his guys. Like you said, if he doesn't have his guys, you say he's out with.
No, so the way I think, the way I think that the Niners will handle this is not that. I mean, if I was the Niners, this is what I would do. And it's Shanahan, who has perfected that run game against us. Listen, the motion is the killer. They use a lot of motion. They use motion like 70% of the time. And when I say motion, I mean snapping the ball while you have someone in motion is a key. Not going in motion and setting up is not motion to me. That's really effective. It's just effective to tell you, okay, you got man, you got zone. What are you playing? That's okay. But when you're running a zone, when you're running someone in motion and you snap the ball when they're in motion, the defense has got to react and they're a step behind. So to me, that is one of the things that the Niners they love to do. We're going to be a step behind. So if I'm the Niners, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run, and I'm going to run, and I'm going to run Jordan Mason until the fucking wheels fall off. And when you do that, if they are successful, which I'm afraid they will be, what comes out of that? You can run. I could be the running back. If the running is good enough or it's scaring the defense, they're going to play action. And play action will hurt us.
What you would do with Mason, but who you got on the Dallas side to face Mason? Who you got? Because I'm going with your scenario here. Who you got on the Dallas side stopping him?
Well, I mean, it's a group stopping, right? But I think what the wife said, Overshown, he's a thumper. He'll hit you and he'll make the tackle. I think they're gonna run the ball, but the thing is, Overshown versus Trent Williams pulling. That's a problem for us.
I don't like that matchup.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Nobody on our team is winning that matchup. So you got to find out who's the other guy, who's the second guy that's going to be there to make that tackle. Whoever's taking out that Trent Williams block is going to get crushed. But who's the other guy? He's got to make the tackle on Mason, and that's one of my keys to victory. Seabass, we got to stop.
Can Overshown get around anybody else? What you think, Coach?
The key is you have to send someone in as a missile first. You got to send someone in at Trent Williams and let him take that, eat the block. So you leave Overshown on a one-on-one with Mason, and he will take Mason down. But you cannot have Overshown cannot be meeting Trent Williams pulling around the corner. If he meets Trent Williams, it's over. Trent Williams going to maul him down, and Overshown will be planted in the earth. So we're gonna have to.
I'm not confident in that, Coach.
Well, that's why we need that.
That's the way I see it.
That's why we need someone like, let's say, Damone Clark. He needs to take that hit.
Oh.
No, listen to me.
I'm off.
Listen. I don't care about Damone Clark. Let him take the fucking hit. You let him take the Trent Williams hit. You let him get blocked by Trent Williams, so you leave Overshown open to get a one-on-one with Mason.
I like it.
So you use the dud. You use a dud. You throw in a dud, and then you get. You don't throw in Overshown to take the first block. You throw in Damone Clark. Who cares? Let him take the first block. Take Trent Williams out. And then you got Overshown to attack Jordan Mason. You stop the run. If you stop or slow down the run against the Niners, you have a chance to win the fucking game. That's the only chance we got to win this game.
Body man.
So
I like that.
So to me, that's what I'm trying. And that's what it leads me to Seabass. That's what I'm trying to say. One of the major keys, we got to stop or slow down Jordan Mason. It's not about Jordan Mason. He is a very good running back this year. He's the second best in yards. They don't have Christian McCaffrey. They're missing him. Jordan Mason stepped up and filled the void. He's not the same caliber as CMC, but he is more than capable, and he's a productive running back. And he is in his third year. He ranks right now only behind Derrick Henry in rushing yards. He's averaging 5.2 yards per carry, and he's rushed for 30 first downs. That's the fourth most in the NFL. The guy is good at running the ball. So stopping the run for the Cowboys has been our biggest issue. We've allowed 143 yards per game running the ball. So
per game?
Yep. And we allowed the second most rushing touchdowns, 10 in the season. So Jordan Mason, stopping him is a key to victory for the Cowboys. And I told you how I do it. Send in some Wanye Thomas and Bell at safety on those run plays. Make sure when they run to the outside,
feel like that safety for them to tackle them, they're not doing good in the LOL.
Well, no. I'm trying to say you move them up to the line of scrimmage, like you said. You got to move them up there.
You want to move them forward, like okay. Yeah,
Marquise Bell is Marquise Bell. To me, Marquise Bell would be an extra linebacker you're throwing in the mix there in a way. So you're running you're running three.
I think what is that concept? What 3-3-5?
Well, but Marquise Bell's safety, but he's playing in the box. Let's say, that's what I would kind of.
In the box. Okay.
Okay. So I'm still running him as a strong safety kind of situation there. Wanye Thomas can press, and maybe help in some run support. He's a bigger guy, so to me, that's how I would help with the run. But it's not just there. Like I said, make sure you have someone taking that first block. Whether it is Marquise Bell or Wanye Thomas,
that's the
Trent Williams block.
Fourth running back for us. Fourth linebacker for us.
Yeah. But I mean, they're not. We have no big linebackers. That's why you got to sacrifice one of these guys so that Overshown or one of these other guys can make the play.
Marquise are not big themselves. They're small, and we used them at linebacker last year, and they just did not cut it.
Right, not against 13 personnel. So that's why we need to maybe one of them can take the hit. And when the short tackler like Overshown is there, he goes at the running back and takes him down. To me, it's not just there either. It's also the trenches. Another key to victory is dominating the trenches. We're dealing on both sides of the ball. I'm going to get away from defense as well. It's both sides. It's offense as well. We're facing a top-tier pass rushing crew with Leonard Floyd and, of course, Bosa. They're going to be disrupting things, and Bosa, even double teamed, he's disruptive. He's the biggest threat on the field. So the Cowboys' offensive line, focal point for McCarthy, made several changes the last couple of weeks. I don't know if they're gonna. Right now the adjustment: Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, who's gonna be left tackle. It's gonna be interesting. We had to rearrange things with T.J. Watt, Aiden Hutchinson, and we kind of made sure we had Tyler Smith more involved in that stuff there. So again. Maybe it's going to happen. I don't know. Right now, the offensive line's gone some adjustments. McCarthy expressed confidence in Guyton starting at left tackle, so that's my expectation. He'll be there. But we have to dominate that interior, the trenches, or they're going to have an upper hand. That's one of my fears.
Yeah.
That's a tough key to victory for us to win.
On the other side, expectation. I demand Guyton to step up.
I hope so, but demanding it,
the best.
Demanding it, it's going to be
the best of the best.
I hope so.
You can't give him slack. No, coach, you can't give him slack. No hope. He's gone up against the best of the best.
I agree. He did well against he did well against Myles Garrett, but. Now he's going up against one of the best defensive lines in the league from all angles, all sides. So
it's week what?
Yeah, 8. Yep.
He should get it together. He should have already had it together.
The injuries slowed him down though, for sure.
And all Zagina and all these folks had it together. If you've gotten your ass kicked as many times as you can tally on the paper that you behold in front of you, how many more ass kicks do you want to take before you can count it?
Apparently a few more.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest.
Get there and do something
because of the injuries, and he had one good game, he had a bunch of bad games, and the injuries. So that's why he's not ready yet. He's just not ready.
Coach, don't pander and give him excuses. I know he's injured. I know we've known that. I'm talking about what I've seen. First week opening season, he went up against who? One of the best of the best. You could throw. I could argue that Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, and Micah Parsons are the top 3 pass rushers in the league. He went up against one of them, so of course he's going to have some strife, some struggle, some setback. But you know what? He's gone up against some equal opportunities after that. And like Coach MCW said, we're in week whatever, man. Like at this point in the game, the GM's supposed to be filling holes, gaps, blah, but we're not going to talk about that.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out 2 things, Seabass.
In spite of Jerry and in spite of the schematic.
We're going to find out 2 things this week with the Niners game. Again, if we have Tyler Smith at left tackle, which I doubt, but if we do, TJ Bass will play guard like you guys like. Then there's the other option, which would be Tyler Guyton at left tackle and Tyler Smith at guard.
Coach. I gassed him up. Hey, Coach, come on now. I gassed him up. Seabass is Seabass, TJ Bass is TJ Bass. TJ Bass was cool.
You gotta represent the Bass Nation.
Yeah.
Right. TJ Bass was cool for the first couple games of the season, but you know, he ain't cool like Seabass. You got to get Guyton back out there. You have to
listen. I'm down. Listen. I have.
You have to develop your rookie.
I have no problem. I have no problem. If Guyton can hold true, I have no problem seeing Guyton go up there against Leonard Floyd and maybe hang with him, and maybe hang a little bit Bosa.
You gonna pull him?
No, hell no. You don't pull him. You gotta hope he trial by fire. But my point is, either way, the facts are facts. That's gonna be the trenches is where you win and lose. And if Guyton don't do his job, we're gonna have big trouble. Now, the other thing is this: on the other side of the line, on the defensive side for us, we don't have Micah Parsons. You know what I'm saying? We don't, of course, don't have DeMarcus Lawrence. So the Niners, when you look at their loss against the Kansas City Chiefs, how's their offensive line? They perform very well in pass protection. So are we gonna get a lot of like pressure on them? The probability is gonna be no. We got Tornado, who's back in the Navy Blue crew.
Shout out to you, Tornado. Much love. Always go Cowboys.
Hell yeah, much love the Tornado. Navy
Coach,
Blue. Drop those emojis if you got them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Coach, if I may, you pointed out something valid. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs are to the Dallas Cowboys. The Kansas City Chiefs are to the 49ers are as to what the 49ers are to the Dallas Cowboys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they beat them all the time the way they beat us.
So as what you were just saying, if they're going to start this brand, if you're going to start this man, yeah. I do feel there's a subtle weakness. Coach, you've told us, Purdy's only been, the QB for maybe 2-3 years, if I'm correct. Coach, he's assistant QB. Yeah. Coach. Wait, just please. I want you to retort everything that I say. I want you to rebuttal everything I say because I know you're gonna hit me with the facts because I don't know shit. He's a system QB under Shanahan, Coach. Under Shanahan has developed as many QBs as you've known. Yes.
Yeah.
He has.
Oh, yeah.
No, he has. So if Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, and every other name that you could think of or derive hasn't been able to do it with that very same team that is going on 8 years, which fans and players within that organization are saying, please remove Kyle Shanahan because he keeps failing us at the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, where we're at, right? So if you feel that, my question to you, this coming game, if we lose this game, and I mean in a blowout fashion, with everything I've just presented to you, give me one name who is the scapegoat.
Mike McCarthy. Easy.
I don't think so.
Who is it? Who do you think it is? So.
Scoring points, Coach. Go again.
Oh, you think Dak Prescott?
No, he's on contract. I think it's Mike Zimmer.
Yeah. I mean, Zimmer. Yeah. If we allow a lot of, obviously the defense fails us. Yeah.
The DC, they don't go for the head coach mid-season. They don't.
Oh, you mean firing him right now?
Yeah,
firing him right now. You mean no? Oh, yeah. No, they try to avoid getting fired. I think it happens to Mike McCarthy if it happens again in week 13. I think he gets fired. But yeah, I think Zimmer might be the first one gone now. Yeah, I think I agree with you on that.
Friends. If it was hypotheticals right now, you would think it was head coach Mike McCarthy.
No, I didn't. You didn't hear what I said.
Yeah, Jerry doesn't fire his head coach.
No, I said week 13. If he gets blown out in week 13 again by the Giants or some shit on Thanksgiving, bye McCarthy. He's gone. That's too embarrassing for Jerry Jones to take.
Oh,
that's all I'm saying. Not now. I'm saying later on.
You cut out right there. So, yeah. So because that would be a flex game right there. That's a primetime game.
Yeah. Jerry Jones don't want to take any big L's in front of embarrassing L's like that.
Last time that we flopped against Broncos.
Do you remember what happened when Wade Phillips got fired? It was after like third embarrassing blown out game in like 8 games. So he and they wanted Garrett in there. So I'm not saying they have someone necessarily ready to take over or whatever it may be, but 99% chance McCarthy finishes his contract. But if he gets blown out on Thanksgiving by the Giants, that might be it for McCarthy, is all I'm saying. Like, that's embarrassing enough that not even Jerry Jones will be willing to play out the rest of the season with. But yeah, just a thought.
MCF, Coach MCW. Wow, MCW. Do you share his opinion on that? That's
actually,
crazy.
no.
You guys have more faith in Coach than I do.
I don't. Jerry's made it very clear. McCarthy's not going anywhere. We're going to finish the season with him. I mean, unless he, like, runs over, his yacht or something. McCarthy will finish out the year.
Push back on that.
As
Coach
much as
MCW, let me push back on that. I feel like his comments that were running bad plays is an indictment on his own coach, saying he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, but we've had that before with Garrett, and he let Garrett finish out the year, because you got to remember, what's more embarrassing, getting your ass handed to you by the Giants, or having Jerry have to admit he was wrong and firing his coach mid-season, because he would rather have a shitty entire football season, right? And I think Jerry's mindset here is, if we fire the coach mid-season, I'm throwing away the towel, and we're definitely giving up now. It's too obvious,
The power of a woman's perspective. Wow, you didn't have to shit on me like that. Wow, wow, I didn't even think of it from that angle. Wow.
Yeah, so Jerry's ego.
Jimmy Johnson's exist. Tom Landry's exist.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So, hey, listen, finishing up real quick, I want to say something that, just the one thing I wanted to say is that our defensive line against their offensive line has to somehow find a way of getting some kind of pressure. The Niners offensive line against the Chiefs did not allow any sacks, and they gave up only 7 pressures on 37 passing plays. So they are very good. Their pass blocking efficiency, they got a 90.5 rating. That's the 7th highest of week 7.
1 out of
so I'm just saying, like,
pressures.
Yeah,
percentage-wise.
What I'm saying is that they are one of the top offensive line pass blocking teams when they do pass. The Niners, of course, when they run, they're one of the best run blocking teams, offensive lines in the NFL. Now, I gotta say this: for an offense known for their big explosive plays, like the Niners have, the Cowboys front, this group, has to find some ways to disrupt the timing and the rhythm of the offense and Purdy. But the Cowboys have allowed 3 passing touchdowns on the road this year. That is the 4th fewest in the NFL. The Niners have only scored 2 passing touchdowns at home this year. That's the 2nd least in the NFL. So they don't throw touchdowns at home, and on the road we do not allow touchdowns to be thrown on us. At least that's been the MO.
Coach MCF.
Yes, sir.
Those are some beautiful stats right there, but according to ESPN, they are 36% in the red zone scoring.
Oh, yeah, the Cowboys are horrible. Well. Horrible. Wow. Cowboys are one of the worst.
I didn't know. So everything that you just said to me, I'm like that Avengers Hawkeye guy. Please don't give me hope.
Well, again, it's just
everything you just said to me. Again,
it's situational. Remember that
we can actually beat those guys.
Well, again, it's situational. So again, on the road, we've passing teams have run all over us is the problem. But we only allowed 3 passing touchdowns in the red zone. Now, it doesn't mean they couldn't. The Saints threw 4 touchdowns in the air against us for 50 yards. That was out of the red zone. So you got to look at context. But when a team gets in the red zone, they usually when we're on the road, they usually don't score on us in the air. And the Niners at home, they usually don't score in the red zone in the air. They're one of the worst teams in the red zone at scoring passing touchdowns. So when I look at things here,
as of according to 2023 and 2024, they were 17th in rushing for 2023 in the red zone, and they were 28th. Wow, in air attack.
Not very good.
Holy shit, MC. Oh, you didn't have to hit me with the facts, man.
But
we could beat these guys. Come on now.
Here's the final thing before we shut it down for tonight. I gotta say this fact that I think is maybe the biggest key is limiting explosive plays. We have to limit explosive plays. To me, that's the way we win this game. Outside of all the other things I said, San Francisco's offense, despite the injuries, are still tough to stop. Primarily because it's the creation of play calling and the creation of explosive plays that they set up. The Niners have consistently pushed the ball down the field. Like, they get in a red zone, they get trouble. But before that, they lead the league with basically an impressive 26 plays of 20 yards or more. Their ability to break big plays open is a key factor in why they've been able to win 3 out of their 7 games. Not many, but they would have lost a lot more were not for those big plays. And they rank.
I hope that is statistically after not having Jennings.
No, this is this is obviously we don't know yet because Jennings is hurt now, but this is this is up to this point of the year. So the thing is, the Niners, their ability to get these big plays is why they rank second in the league with 6 plays of 40 yards or more. So they have big plays 20 yards or more, 40 yards or more. They have explosive offense. So their explosive nature of their offense is why the Cowboy defense, which allows 356.5 yards per game, is going to be on. We could be on our heels all fucking night. Now, the Niners, they have 27 rushing plays of 10 yards or more. They have 26
Oh my
yeah.
God.
They have 26 receiving plays of 20 yards or more for a total of 53 big plays. They average 7.6 big plays a game. You know the Cowboys? We have only
please
8.
Don't put this statistic, please.
You're gonna hate me for this. We only have 6 rushing plays of 10 yards or more. I'm sorry, 8 rushing plays. 8 rushing plays of 10 yards or more. We have 18 receiving plays of 20 yards or more. A total of 26 big plays. That's it. They have 26 just in the air. We have 26 total. And we only average.
Everybody in the community, everybody attending, if you just understood the statistics read to you,
it's bad.
Oh my.
We averaging per game. We're averaging 4.3 big plays per game. So we gotta get better at big. We gotta get more big plays on offense, and we gotta stop the big plays on defense. I'm gonna ask some predictions here on scores, but I gotta leave it with the facts here, guys. I mean, I don't sugarcoat shit. I cannot do it.
3 a.m., so I know you gotta go, but man.
It's 4 a.m. over here. Yeah, we are shutting it. They had a 3-hour stream tonight. But the thing is that, to me, limiting the big plays is a huge way for us to at least stay in the game. Make sure we get a couple more big plays in 4 a game. That's a way of us to stay in the game. So that's all I'm hoping for. When it comes to getting a final prediction for me in this game and looking at the stats, it's hard for me to pick the Cowboys to win, but I always do. I think this game, possibly you're going to see a score. And here's my guess. Now, don't yell. I think a 24-23 Cowboys victory.
I will not give a score prediction, but I do have a positive prediction to give you. I do think we got our first interception in a very long time here, because let's be real, the turnovers have not been turnovering.
I will take that.
We need more turnovers.
So I could see us actually getting a turnover this time. Hopefully an interception officially, but I'll take any turnover.
Something. Yeah. How about you, Seabass? What's your predictions for this game?
I hope that we actually get a turnover by maybe one of the lower classmen that we have here. But my score prediction in of itself, Coach, everything that we put down, everything that you put down, you hit me with facts that I wasn't even prepared to retort with. I'm still sitting with, you could call it blind faith, misplaced optimism, but I feel as though Dak Prescott is a franchise quarterback. Brock Purdy is a systematic quarterback. And he couldn't make it work underneath Shanahan. And we've seen when he's without a running game and without Trent Williams. We've seen him without Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, and Kittle and CMC. We've seen that, Coach, and Coach MCW. We've seen that. So I think that with his lacking, I think that the Cowboys will put on an even better show And even though we are lacking in our starters, I want to point out that these players that were the second and third stringers had a lot more, what's that word I'm looking for, when they played last game and the last game after that. They had a little bit of oomph, a little bit of more attitude. Maybe it's because they're not being paid. Maybe because they're not being played. I don't know. I don't make the rules. But they had attitude, and they came forth with purpose and poise, and I liked that. But that's not the point. The point is what I'm saying to the next game. I think that these same players whom are maybe looking to get a contract, maybe looking to be paid, maybe looking to be extended, maybe looking to stop being traded or not being traded, they're going to put forth that extra oomph because the 49ers are lacking and they're deficient.
Interesting. I hear, the one thing I'll say is when the Cowboys had their backs against the wall, when no one's picking them to win, and somehow I always think the Cowboys, I've seen it happen throughout my life. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just the star, I don't know, bring something out of you, but somehow the Cowboys bring the little extra oomph when their back's against the wall, when no one expects them to win, when everybody, even the fans, are turning on them. That's why I picked the Cowboys in this game by 1, because I think the Cowboys are going to pull out one of these. You're not going to expect them to win, and then all of a sudden, boom. They're gonna surprise everybody by saying, how the fuck the Cowboys win this game with everybody injured? With everybody down on them.
Point?
You know what I mean?
So who you putting that on, Aubrey or?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that Aubrey hits the game winner. It's
Yeah.
probably like 23-21, and Aubrey hits the 68-yard field goal to break the record and win the game.
No. He breaks Tucker's record and he puts 71, and it's an alien record. No, fuck that. No, I want Tucker and Koo out of the record book.
Yeah, me
Aubrey's
too.
a fucking alien.
Aubrey the alien. Hey. Very enjoyable conversation, brother. Again,
yes, thank you so much, Seabass,
it's
for
hard,
taking time to come and chat with us.
It's hard to be like really positive about the Cowboy season right now, but it's the true fans show up here when it matters most, and you're one of the true fans.
Yes,
you know what it's about.
Hopefully next time we have you on, we do have more positive things to talk about.
Yeah, we have you on in November, brother. We're gonna see you for our November After Dark session.
Family.
Yes, sir.
It is a blessing to get on this platform, your platform, and speak with a couple. May I emphasize, a couple, not some dude who's making random videos in his grandma's basement at home on YouTube. No, a couple who knows what they're talking about as far as a content source, media, perspectives, everything. They're not going to give you that bias, no bullshit. We're going to nonsense you. It's an honor to be on the show. Don't thank me. Thank your 8 years of service of what you guys have done. And I thank you for bringing me onto the platform to allow me the opinion to express what I feel and as I think for my Blue Star Nation. I digress.
Again, thank you so much, Seabass.
Seabass, you're the man, brother. Appreciate you. And
hey, there's only one right way to end a discussion with another illustrious Cowboy fan, right?
Yes, and over everything.
You want me to say it, or you want you to do it? Which one?
I think
I
can
wake up my daughter, or you guys can do it. We can do
no,
it.
we don't want you waking up your daughter. You can do it with us, though. Never forget.
All right, on a 1, on a 2, on a 3. How about
them Cowboys?
Woo!
Cowboys?
And never ever forget.
Let's go for 6.
Go Cowboys! Let's do that. Hey, appreciate you, brother. We will see you again in November, and we'll see you here right on the stream in less than 24 hours for the game.
Much appreciated, my friend. I'll catch you on After Dark, MCW, everything. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Coach.
You know it.
Love it.
Love
I'll
it,
let
man.
you guys get to it.
Damn right. Let's
fuck
the Niners.
Cowboys.
Fuck the Niners and beat the Niners
Fuck
tomorrow.
the 69ers.
You know that.
Bang, bang,
The
proud.
40 Whiners. Fuck the 40 Whiners. We'll see you tomorrow, brother. Go Cowboys!
Good night to y'all. I'll see y'all. Go Cowboys!
Hell yeah. Good night, brother. Appreciate him as always. The man Seabass. always keeping it real. This man is the longest running member on the Over Everything levels. And we got Chill Pill now with the back-to-back going on the Over Everything side of things. If she ever makes an appearance, she said she'll make it here first. Good to know. Appreciate you, Seabass, always making appearances here. One more to come at least, right? Every month on the Over Everything, you get one appearance. So he jumped back into that, and he gets one more. He gets another one in November. Cannot wait to hopefully talk good Cowboy news.
So let me shout out the people representing on this board as we wrap things up here. Thank you very much to the sponsor of the week, John Luna.
Yeah.
Representing there, although Mr. A. Lavelle did take down his stream boss, repping it now in 98 points.
That's right.
I believe he's also the membership gifting champion.
Who
Mr.
is?
John Luna, right?
No, that's Chill Pill.
That's right. Chill Pill.
Chill Pill is the membership gifting queen. I'm sorry to take up.
And huge shout out to Skeptical Fan. Always staying skeptical.
Always. He's the
Cash App King.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Skeptical Fan. I know, I think it's Pat Pfeiffer who is currently trying to take over as the Cash App Queen.
Yeah, she's jumped over James Hurt and a couple others tonight. In first place on that spot. John Luna is the leader for the gifting membership crown. And he's also the overall leader right now, trying to go back to back, a three-peat, as we call it here, with
we'll see you
sponsor
guys.
of the week, right?
Yeah.
So, 3-hour plus stream, guys. I have the fucking hiccups.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out, my love.
We don't have an After Dark tonight. This is the After Dark. But we will be back with this game here, 8 p.m. Eastern time or so for the Niners, Cowboys. Fuck the Niners. Let's go, Cowboys. And we'll see you all back here again. I'm sure you got a couple of quick shout-outs in the chat, I guess, before we get rolling out of here. I do have a couple of shout-outs on my side. Big-time shout-out to Calvin Richard, who came in there, and now he's right there with Seabass, I think. Tied for 4th place. Big shout-out to Jet Lee 44, A. Lavelle, Pat Pfeiffer, Cash App leader, and is that Kojic Boy? Is that Kojic Boy? But we know what it is. Tornado in the house. Much love to you. He's in that membership Navy Blue crew. Thank everybody. Again, our special guest, Seabass, over everything in the house. And baby, who else is in the house as we say goodnight to everyone?
Shout out to Matt Batten, Tornado, Scorpio, of course, Seabass. Bruce got the toxic juice. We have, Burn Bar, I know, is in the chat. Rolling it back a bit more. We have Jetly 44. That's Stick Aguilar 04. Thomas Garrett, Superior Garrett. Jera Jones. The Champ. Kathy Martis. Pat Pfeiffer. The Lunatic, much love.
Yeah, Lunatic in the house.
Asmodeus. All of you guys, again, huge shout out to you all. Thank you so much.
Baby,
there's a reason we do what we do.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do the live stream. Tomorrow we'll have the camera on. Passion on, hopefully beating the Niners. We'll see what happens tomorrow night for some Sunday night football right here in My Cowboys Family. Before we can do that, though, baby, why don't you let everybody know why we do this thing here on this channel for almost 8 years?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly on this channel, on MCF here, we always rep that star for everything. And here on My Cowboys Family for over 7 years, 8 seasons doing this thing. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. We got 5, but we need to get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Cannot do this without your guys' input on our Cowboys. And, of course, truly humbled and appreciate all you guys who drop the love from above, whether it's membership or gifting or cash out, whatever. Super chats, thanks, whatever. Thank you guys and the help and to this channel. Keep it going. 7 years plus. On that note, it is time to clock out and drop out of here for the night. Relock and reload for our game day reaction week 8 battle against the San Francisco 49ers tomorrow night right here in My Cowboys Family. So on that note, baby, before we can officially pack it up for the night, relock and reload for tomorrow and shut it down, let them know what we got to do before we drop on out of here for the night.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat's been dropped, and it is a wrap here on My Cowboys Family. Thank you all for joining us. You could be anywhere. You're here with us. Listen to all the news, info, and updates, and special guest C. Bass. Much love. Right here on another Cowboys chat. Or in this case, our Week 8 preview against the Niners. Hell yeah, guys. A power-packed 3-hour plus show of 4 days, 4 nights of news, info, and updates, plus special guests. We had it all tonight. Priming you up for the big game tomorrow against the San Francisco 49ers. Right here on MCF, My Cowboys Family. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. It's you guys keeping it going in the house. Thank you guys for watching, hitting that like, hitting subscribe, hitting the notification bell, following us on Twitter, X, and all social media at My Cowboys Family, following us on Discord. You know when we're going live, and thank you all. Stay safe. We'll see you back here for the game, hours away. Much love to all, and never, ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.